I'm Colin Baker, and you are listening to Mark Who 42, The Meaning of Life.
Welcome to Mark Who 42's WHOniverse, Doctor WHOniverse that is, and wow, it's our first anniversary show! Woo!
What'd you get us? You're supposed to get people a gift. What'd you get us?
I thought you were going to get me a gift. It's Mark Who 42's WHOniverse. You give Mark Who 42 the gift.
Yeah, but you're the boss. You're supposed to give the minions.
That's right. I'm the boss, Mark-Baumgarten, and with me are my cohorts,
Trish-helm,
Eduardo-m-Freyre,
Christian-basel, bring me knitting.
Yeah. Well, I didn't buy you guys a present. I thought that this show would be present enough because we've got over an hour of interview footage from Hurricane Who. And that means we've got people like Ian-mcneice. We've got people like Frazer Hines. We've got Daphne Ashbrook. We've even got one of the doctors, if you know what I mean. We got a lot of people coming on the show today, and that's my gift to you.
Good gift. I'll take it.
But first...
we're going to do the news with Patricia Helm. However, it's going to be a special news report because lots of important things, including a certain minisode, came out this past week. Woohoo! I believe this is where the Americans put on some overly dramatic music and have some overly dramatic computer graphics on the screen.
We all know what the biggest news was the prequel that came out this week. I'm assuming everybody has seen it, and probably multiple times, because,
So I don't need to put the spoiler alert on, and I'm not going to. If you haven't seen Night of the Doctor, shame. If you haven't seen Night of the Doctor, fast forward maybe 15 minutes. I don't know. Just make sure you listen to the interviews.
You know what?
Love the interviews.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah. If they haven't seen Night of the Doctor already, first of all, let me say, congratulations on getting out of your coma. Just seriously, how could you have not seen it? Heck, Patricia, after she saw it, texted me and was like, "Get on your laptop now."
I mean, it's only 7 minutes, mankind. If you can't take the time to, forget that hitchhiker line.
But, it's one of the best 7 minutes. Ever in Doctor Who, I think.
It was the best 7 minutes because we were completely surprised about a minute into it.
The minute I saw McGon show up, I did my best David Tennant impression, and I was going, what? What?
They lie.
What?
The people who make Doctor Who lie like crazy. And Paul lied, and Stephen lied, everyone lied.
And an angel
got actually, its wing. Well, no, but technically, hold on a minute. Technically, they haven't lied yet. No. Because this is a prequel to the special.
It's not the special itself.
So we could still have the special and not have an appearance by Paul McGon.
Yeah, so it's a technicality.
But technically, he didn't lie.
And we finally got to see Paul McGann regenerate into the next Doctor. Unfortunately for some, it wasn't Christopher Eccleston. Was it?
So we finally know where the War Doctor, as they're calling him, fits into this. Stephen Moffat, he has come out and he has said that this does not change the numbering of the Doctors. I know that was the next thing
he did say that. He did say that.
He said that. This is a direct quote. He says, "I've been really, really quite careful about the numbering of the Doctors." He's very specific. The John Hurt Doctor, that he doesn't take the name of the Doctor. He doesn't call himself that. He's the same Time Lord, the same being as the Doctors either side of him, but he's the one who says, "I'm not the Doctor." The 11th Doctor is still the 11th Doctor. The 10th Doctor is still the 10th. It's not a matter of counting the regenerations, but the counting of the faces of the Time Lord that calls himself the Doctor.
But the 12 regenerations is for the Time Lord, not the person's name. So that would mean even though Peter Capaldi would be playing the 12th Doctor, he's playing the 13th life of this Time Lord that normally calls himself the Doctor. Doesn't that mean that that's it?
See, exactly. That's exactly my point.
He may not be the Doctor, John Hurt, but he's definitely the same Time Lord.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's exactly. Trish and I were debating this the other day. It's a Time Lord still has 13 regenerations, and the War Doctor is one of them. Now, okay, I can see for the fans who don't want to all of a sudden renumber everything that,
Right.
okay, yes, you consider John Hurt the War Doctor. You don't consider him the real Ninth Doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I mean, okay, yes, fine. But as far as story-wise, as far as the mechanics that have been set up within the show, within the 50 years we're talking about, this does throw a wrench in things, and this has to be explained. Yeah. But didn't Trish, in that same interview article, didn't Moffat call John Hurt an anomaly?
Yes.
Okay, see, that I can get more behind, because maybe there's something more to the regeneration than we saw.
I'm sure Moffat has it. I'm sure he has, an explanation for the regenerations.
Right, like maybe there is a way.
Didn't even hint at it, I think, on a previous story that we reported on, that he said he was going to address the number of regenerations.
Yes, he did.
During the 50th.
He did say. Well, he said that he was going to address the concept of regenerations, and that he has been.
He already has something planned.
Yeah. Did anybody notice when? First of all, it's been pointed out. When 8 regenerated into the War Doctor, we didn't see the whole thing. We just saw him starting to glow, and then the transformation occurred off camera. One of the first things I noticed is when we get the reflection of the War Doctor,
he's young.
He has dark hair, and the hairstyle, I mean, okay, it's kind of the reflection's a little warped, but to me it felt like the hairstyle was still extremely similar to paul-bradford's.
It was looked a little longer, didn't it? To me, I thought in the reflection, it looked a little longer.
Yeah, again,
it was nice CGI because John Hurt is not that young.
I want to see this reflection again. Somebody wants to correct it. I could have sworn when the reflection first starts off, it looks like Christopher Eccleston, but then when it moves over, it forms into John Hurt. I thought that's what I got. I'll see that again, but it looks like it starts off as Eccleston, because that's what everybody's assuming, that he's going to turn into Christopher Eccleston, but then when it moves left, it forms into the young John Hurt. I would like everybody to look at that again.
I'd have to look at that again. It might just be because, again, the reflection's not an extremely clear reflection. It's a little warped. Like, it's a little warped, it's a little blurred.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, everybody can have its own interpretation, but when I was looking at the blogs and everything, that was their first impression, and that's what they assumed that he was going to transform into, and of course he ended up being the Hurt Doctor. And of course this is, the universe of Moffat, where everything can be time can be rewritten, so who's not to say that this might be an alternate Doctor, this could be a pocket universe Doctor, this could be anything that the John Hurt is, and we won't know until, the 23rd of November when everything premieres out, and I'm sure it will all be explained, and most likely from hints from John Hurt that he was going to be happy to working with Peter Capaldi. This may not be the only time that we see the War Doctor.
You have to remember, the regeneration is finished way before he looks at the reflection. He's picking up the war belt,
Cass's war belt.
So he does, but I did look at the reflection, and it kind of did sort of maybe iffy look like Eccleston, but I don't think it was meant to. Because John Hurt looked like that at the end of the shot. So I don't think he turned into Christopher Eccleston and then in the mirror turned into John Hurt. I think he turned into John Hurt.
No, I think it was just something symbolic over there. It was supposed to be distorted to the fans, because we are in the assumption that, well you know what? Doctor is Eccleston.
Yes, it was slightly distorted at the
over.
beginning of the reflection, so you could be right.
Well, it's interesting because nothing has been. I mean, Moffat hasn't gone on record as that. He didn't go on and he in all the talk about the prequel, there hasn't been thing of, and did anybody see? We also get a very tiny glimpse of another Doctor. Did you blink?
Well, why would he ruin it for us? It's part of his sleight of hand. It could be part of his sleight of hand.
Quite possibly. I mean, we'll have to see.
I don't want to harp on this because we could be completely off base. It doesn't really look like Eccleston, but it does look distorted. I'm just going to say that.
And I will say this. I do have to heap on some praise. I know that I've been very critical of the way BBC or Moffat or whoever is, whoever's in charge of this. I have been critical of the way that they've been promoting this.
Have you really, Ed? I hadn't noticed.
Yeah, but look, I will say, there's a phrase that my parents taught me, which is "catch them being good," and I will say that this is for me. I feel this is them being good. I think that the release of the prequel, it happened exactly. It's exactly right. They release it a week before the before the special
on Paul's birthday.
On Paul's birthday. So yeah, even there's even the fact that they released it on the main actor's birthday, which was a nice gesture. They didn't have to do that, but they released it. They surprised the fans. This came out exactly when it's supposed to. Yeah. It's not. One of my criticisms has been that it feels like they're playing catch up instead of having deposited this stuff, scattered throughout the year. But this came out exactly right. This is exactly right. One thing though, aren't there supposed to be 2 minisodes to go with the 50th special?
Still got a week.
Still got a week.
Yeah, because we got Night of the Doctor this past week, and there's supposed to be one called The Last Day. Yeah. And I haven't heard anything about when that's supposed to drop.
Well, maybe it comes
when
after.
Is it supposed to? Yeah, when is it supposed to drop? When are we supposed to? When is it supposed to drop? When is it? Where are we supposed to see it?
I don't know.
Well, first of all, I think if we've learned anything throughout everything that has happened, that Stephen Moffat has not committed to anything. In fact, I'll be surprised if he goes, you know what, I'm not going to release this on November the 23rd. I'm going to fool all you people. So, we hear all these rumors and stories, and in one interview, Stephen Moffat, I forget which one, so sorry for that one, but he even says, I don't even have to put the rumors out anymore. I don't even have to put the lies out. Everybody else is doing it for me. So, one of the articles I read, I believe on Wikipedia, was on Colin Baker, who said that he confirmed that none of the classic Doctors were in it, right. Which is not necessarily false, but it's not necessarily true, because we had Paul McGann show up in the minisode.
Yeah, of course. Then again, this could be. I've seen there's an article that keeps getting updated on Doctor Who TV,
right?
Where it was like, what we know about the 50th, and I think Colin Baker was quoted as saying, I've spoken to Sylvester. He says he's not doing it. I've spoken to Paul. He says he's not doing it. So, it could be not so much misinformation from Colin, but that's what they told him. So, he could have been fooled as much as the rest of us.
Like I said, I think we're coming to the point where we're going to, unless it is released, unless November 23rd at 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time hits, we're not going to know anything until that. And I think
250, Christian.
250.
7:50 British time, 2:50 here, and in Reno it'll be 11:50.
Yeah, all I know is my DVR set, so I'm good to go.
Yeah, so Christian, make sure that your DVR is set to 250. I don't want to go online and see you going, there was no special, Moffat fooled us again. It's like, wait 50 minutes. Have you read all the postings on BBC? It's 50. Yeah. 50.
Getting back to the minisode. I thought it was amazing, and I know that people like Megan Laughlin would agree. Big Finish is canon.
Yes.
Because the 8th Doctor, before he regenerated into the War Doctor, before he drank the potion from the Sisterhood of Karn, and we'll be talking about them in a second, but he started saluting, and he listed the names of his companions from Big Finish, which means they exist in the Doctor Who Whoniverse.
But does that mean all the stories are now canon? Does that mean President Romana is now canon? Does that mean the what-ifs are now canon? I mean, how much of it now is canon?
The what-ifs are never canon. They were what-ifs.
Right.
But President Romana, it's very possible that there was a President Romana before Rassilon came back and reasserted the power of the president. It's possible. Mm-hmm. They haven't gone into it that much, but it's very cool that Big Finish was brought into this anniversary.
Is Zagreus canon now? I mean, all these episodes that, we're off to the side now. Now, are they all pulled into the streamline.
Yeah, that's the debate I've been seeing online.
But then also, I mean, what does that do for something like the novel Human Nature?
We didn't say the novels were canon. We just said the audios.
For Virgin books, they're not canon now. I think it's just
okay, but we can
and to an incorporation for Big Finish to come in and say this is now part of the storyline, and we are not only honoring what McGann did for Big Finish, we are now incorporating that to give him the seasons he never had.
Right.
The storylines we never saw.
At the very least, we can take to the bank that all the companions that have been name dropped, that their stories are canon.
Yeah, the Paul McGann audios from Big Finish are canon. Whether the other ones are, it's up to subjection.
And I saw some people online, they were saying, well, with all these stories that are now canon, why can't we do some Eighth Doctor stories, some actually episodes? And some people were saying, how about Netflix? How Netflix is doing their own series.
Oh yeah, I mean,
online they're saying, why doesn't BBC join up with Netflix and let's make some of these Eighth Doctor stories? Which I think that would be awesome.
It would be awesome.
Here's something though that may open up some more of the audios, not just the Eighth Doctors. Charlie Pollard.
Uh-huh.
Didn't she also travel with Six?
Yeah, when she left the Eighth, she got picked up by the Sixth. So in a way, those are canon. Yeah, I mean,
exactly.
it calls that. You can't really tell yet. We'll have to see. It's still up to the personal choice of yours if you believe it's canon or not. But besides the Big Finish canon, and I brought this up just a few moments ago, the fact that Brain of Morbius was felt in this story with the Sisterhood of Karn. Sacred fire, sacred flame, sacred fire.
Oh God!
Sacred flame. I loved it.
There goes the porn movie.
No. You're getting closer to the corner, Christian. No, I thought it was great that the ship in the minisode crashed into the ship graveyard that was on Karn, which you saw in Brain of Morbius. And then, now, correct me if I'm wrong, was the old lady in this episode, this minisode, the same lady as the young lady from Brain of Morbius? Because he recognized her.
Okay, I think
the name is slightly different. I saw that.
Different. The
name was but they said that she could be connected to her because the name is very similar.
Okay.
Yeah, that it's not.
It
Yeah,
wasn't
that's what
the same actress. It wasn't the same. I wasn't sure. I didn't IMDb that.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, if we are now canon with the Big Finish, didn't the Eighth Doctor visit the Sisterhood in his time?
Yes, he.
So I'm thinking that's how he knows them already. Not only from his fourth incarnation, but the eighth incarnation.
From what,
Sisterhood of,
from what I read, the Sisterhood of the Karn came back heavily in the audios.
Two of the McGann, Sheridan Smith audios.
So yeah, then that makes the appearance of the Sisterhood of Karn even more important.
It does.
Yeah.
I even wonder. I mean, is this the last we'll see of the Sisterhood of Karn in the 50th?
We don't know. Back to the Big Finish Sisterhood of Karn stories. Morbius had come back, and the Doctor and Morbius fall down that same canyon that he falls down in the Brain of Morbius, and supposedly they're both dead, but the Sisterhood transported him to another planet, to Orbis, with the Stellar Manipulator to save his life. But yeah, Sisterhood of Karn has transports the Doctor all over the place and does stuff.
And apparently they've improved in Time Lord regeneration technology.
Oh, yeah.
By getting Starbucks drinks to give to the Eighth Doctor. Nobody saw those on the cup? I was looking very carefully. It didn't matter what cup he had. He was going to end up that way.
So, geez, what? Offer him a regeneration espresso, and they don't even ask if he wants anything from the bakery. Want a cookie? Want a brownie? Wonderful little panini.
Boy, this is a great first anniversary show. I can't believe we've been on for a year. This show's been on for a year.
It's gone so fast.
It's gone so fast. Yes, it has.
Oh, you have.
But hey, not a bad,
recently.
Oh, that's right, Christian. You haven't been here for a year, have you?
No.
Okay, so you're not allowed to be in the party. Go away.
On the
Private party. Private
Go
party.
in the corner, Christian.
Fine, I'm
party.
taking the cake with me.
Speaking of the corner,
Touch it.
do we putting Christian in a corner? Let's name the corner Christian's corner.
Oh God!
Let's do that.
This was not a setup. This was not.
Let's make it Christian's
fair.
This is a Christian. Okay. Christian's Corner is a new segment that we're going to be doing on the podcast, starting with the first anniversary, where we take things that you've sent us, that you've written to us, either on our Facebook page or on our email, mark@markwho42.com, and we will ask questions of you, and you will answer, and Christian will be put on the spot to talk about the subject.
God, I'm glad this ain't live.
Oh, it's live, all right.
Live. No, I'm not getting saved by editing.
There's no editing in this segment.
Okay, so Christian, what was it that you asked the public at large?
We asked the public at large, what are you most looking for to in the 50th anniversary?
We went through the various responses and picked out 6 of them.
Oh wow, 6.
Okay. So are you, Christian? Are you ready to respond 6 times?
Oh my!
I am not a man. I am a number. I am 6 answers. I don't know what the hell I just said.
Okay, this is Christian's time to embarrass himself.
All right, not mine. I'll take that back.
So quietly. First off, we have Travis Sieber.
Oh,
And let's see. He said if he had to pick just one thing that he's looking forward to in the 50th, it's the return of the Zygons. He feels they are the best monster that appeared only once. And he even, in parenthesis, adds, in fact, better than some of the monsters that got more appearances.
So the question to Christian is, do you know who the Zygons are? And what are they?
No, thanks for asking. I do know what the Zygons are. I'm actually happy they came back. I'm a little. It's a little disconcerting to see the monsters the way they are. I'm glad, it was kind of like the Ice Warriors where they kind of improved them, but you can still tell they're like the Ice Warriors, where you can see the mouths in the old series and stuff like that. And you look at this thing and it looks like an octopus sucker gone bad with the Zygons. Then I'm glad they came back. I'm hoping whatever the storyline is that they have for the 50th anniversary is, I'm sure it's going to be wild with Steven at the helm writing the story out there. So yeah, I'm very happy to see the Zygons back.
Cool.
I kind of had a little theory about the Zygons in this, based off the trailers. Did you see that there was a trailer posted from New Zealand? Had a couple of extra little clips on it.
Oh no, I haven't seen that.
And then there was also the Children in Need clip. Did you guys watch
we didn't
that?
mention Children in Need. Send your
I
donation.
saw that.
They're in the museum, and the paintings have been broken from the inside. The glass has been shattered now. In some of the trailers, you see a Zygon breaking through glass. And Zygons they're supposed to imitate people, right?
Imitate? Yes, they do. They can change their form as long as they keep a copy of the original form to pattern themselves after.
Well, in the clip, Kate Stewart was saying that the figures in the paintings are missing.
Mm-hmm.
Could they be Zygons that were disguising themselves as the figures in the painting, and then they break out?
Well, that's a very interesting theory.
And then that's how they're infiltrating the Earth?
I've also seen a couple other theories. What if a current character that we've been overlooking is a Zygon?
Yes.
Could 4 Doctor, could Rose, could the 10th Doctor, could the 11th Doctor, could
very
one of our
possibly
current characters be a Zygon?
Or
No,
more than one.
There was that one picture that was from the trailer where you could see that there was clearly 2 Kate Stewarts.
So maybe one's a Zygon, maybe both are Zygons.
Uh-oh.
You also see from one of the preview trailers that Clara is holding a time manipulator, and when she's about to transport, she's smiling.
She's
Kind
of got this gotcha look on her
kind of
face.
this gotcha look as she's disappearing. Could that be the Zygon?
It could be.
Or could it be Clara escaping the Zygons and kind of being like, ha,
Which is a
can't catch me,
possibility.
Yeah.
And that trailer also, there was this one little quick 1-second clip I happened to pause at the right second, and it looked like a figure from the painting. It actually kind of, on the bottom, it looked like that picture of, did you see that one? It was a painting of the 10th Doctor from Queen Elizabeth's collection. It looked like him holding on to Osgood. Now, Osgood's a new character that she's actually wearing, like a Tom Baker scarf. Right. She's a scientist for UNIT. And it's holding on to her, and a split second later, the head gets punched out from the back, and there's a Zygon behind it. It's almost like a Zygon exploding out of this figure. So, or I don't know.
Or it could be, it could be that the heads, one of my theories is it could be that the figures in the paintings aren't so much Zygons as maybe some sort of advanced artificial party.
I don't know, but lots of stuff in that just made my head hurt more.
But back to the corner. Back to the corner.
Let Zygons be Zygons.
Yeah. See, that's why Christian's in the corner. Number 2, please.
Number 2. Okay, so from Jeff Waddell, what he's looking forward to is a brief glimpse of Peter Capaldi.
You're kidding me. Where was I? Hey, I already had a trailer. I had a trailer for Paul McGann. I'm serious. Come on, man. Put me on I got to wait till Christmas to show up. Are you serious? 50th anniversary. Unbelievable.
Well, I mean, it is possible because we had such a big announcement of Peter Capaldi that they're doing the same thing as when they announced Jenna Louise Coleman before, and then we saw her in Asylum of the Daleks. We had, hey, she's supposed to be later. Well, they might do the same thing with Peter Capaldi in this. We don't know.
Maybe, maybe not. It could also be, no offense, Jeff, if you're listening. It could also be that he mixed up the 50th anniversary with the Christmas special.
That's possible.
Yeah, my chickens don't know any better.
Well, that's because we
Jenna
celebrate
chicken?
Hanukkah.
Hanukkah special. Now that's a good one. 13 Days of Doctor Who. I like that.
Well, one of the Christmas specials had the attacking Christmas tree.
Yeah, let's have a Hanukkah bush attack.
Or what about the dreidel?
Did you just say Hanukkah
it's already
bush?
it's already family show. Family show.
All right,
No.
Melanie's last name was Bush. Melanie Bush. That's what we're talking about. Now, number 3.
Yep. Moving on, please. Let's see. Okay, from David Adams, he says, Paul McGann. Oh, wait! Yeah.
Moving on. Thanks, David.
Eisenheimer.
You got 7 minutes? You got a YouTube video waiting for you.
Okay, let's see. Tina Stitzer?
Oh, Tina. I know Tina. Hi, Tina. Glad you're listening in. I'll see you at the viewing party on the 23rd.
Yeah, and she is curious about any other surprises we're about to see.
It's Moffat. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah. So...
Is there anything else?
There's got to be surprises. There's going to be surprises.
Full of surprises.
Let's see. Then let's see. Okay, so number 5
says Moffat lies and my favorite character dies.
Oh
God. Let's see. Well, we got we have Mary Geisler, and she would love to see Romana in the 50th.
Well, that would work with the canon issue of Big Finish, wouldn't it?
Oh, and she didn't stop there. She would also love to see Drax. She would love to see the Valeyard. She's even hoping for an appearance by Ian.
She wants a lot.
You're asking for quite a lot, Mary, and I can't promise you anything. Maybe Christian can, but I can't.
As much as we've paid homage to now Paul McGann and his time as the Doctor in the Big Finish series, yeah, why not bring in... I mean, this was supposed to be, according to the article, a gift to the fans. So, I mean, we might see more of, the mention of Romana now that she is kind of canon now with the Big Finish, with the apocalypse element and all the stories with that. I'm wondering if Gallifrey is now, canon with all their stories.
Well, I mean, right now Gallifrey's in the time lock, so it doesn't matter what's
Sure. Drax, I You know, I personally would love to see Drax. I thought he was awesome, and I'm sure a lot of our friends and fans who are just coming up into the new series don't know who Drax is. Drax is a Time Lord. If you go back in time to the Fourth Doctor series, to the Key of Time, at the very end episode, he shows up. It's played by a very talented comedian, which my name escapes me. If you want to put that on Mark 42 later on, but. He's a very interesting character, and he helps the Doctor out.
Yeah, they were frat brothers. Yeah, and they call them Theta Sigma, or Theet for short.
For short. And
that was the Doctor.
The Valeyard, I guess we'll find out eventually. Ian Chesterton, I would love for him to make an appearance, too. I hope he's... Wow, has he got to be in his 80s or something, right?
Well, he's showing up in the Big Finish.
Well, and there's a problem with... Well, there's a slight problem with having Ian Chesterton.
Yes.
And that would be that if you remember from the Sarah Jane Adventures, the death of the Doctor, it was implied that Ian and Barbara haven't aged since they were deposited back on the...
You're right.
Unless you get the actor who's playing William Russell / Ian Chesterton in an Adventure in Space and Time, that might be a little difficult to pull off.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, unless they want to spend a lot of money on CGI smoothing out William Russell's face.
I think they spent enough of it on John Hurt.
Yeah, they did on that minisode.
Yeah. So.
John, do you have an old picture of when you were young? Just hold it up.
Just crop it in.
You were in theater.
This is his corner, all right. And the last one, Ed?
Okay, well, yeah, we're going to have one last one. It's from Carly Louise Hutchinson, who has been talking to us recently, gave us a nice little gift of a picture of a band for our podcast. Yep, she is, let's see, she can't wait. And what is she looking forward to? Everything.
Are you looking forward to everything, Christian?
I am.
Oh, that.
Oh, did you want more on that?
Sorry. Hey, I'll take that because
Care to expand on that?
we'll end on that because we're going to go to commercial. When we come back, the coverage of Hurricane Who starts, and we're going to have people like Colin Spaull from the Dalek episode with Colin Baker and the Age of Steel storyline from David Tennant with the Cybermen. We've got Paul Bradford from Ghost Hunter International, Tony Lee, comic writer extraordinaire Tony Lee, plus a lot more. We'll be right back.
This is Ian-mcneice, and you're listening to Mark Who 42.
Doctor Who may be off our airwaves until November, but you don't have to do without the Doctor during his 50th anniversary year. When the show was originally off the air during the 1990s and early 2000s, Virgin Publishing and BBC Books released original novels featuring all of the past Doctors and companions. Though now out of print, you can pick them up from Mark Who 42 Books. The books are all in excellent condition and ready to ship right away. Whether to read or just finish your collections, go to amazon.com/shops/Mark Who 42. That's amazon.com/shops/MARKWHO 42.
Kid? Yes. Shut up.
Beyond the Night is the GCRN's latest review podcast. We are covering everything in the Knight Rider television universe, from the classic 80s TV series to the 1991 reunion film, Team Knight Rider, and the 2008 relaunch series as well. So join TFG and Mike and Dion the Music Man as they go in depth and Beyond the Night only on Geekcast Radio Network. You can find Beyond the Night in iTunes and on www.geekcastradio.com.
Kid?
Yes, Michael.
Just keep driving.
Welcome to a collaboration between the Geekcast Radio Network and the Pop Culture Network. This is From the Command Center, the podcast. I am your host, TFG and Mike from the GCRN, and joining me is Zordon himself. Scotty Cash.
That's right, Scotty Cash from the Pop Culture Network, and today we're introducing you to the audio version of From the Command Center, the podcast that will entail our intake on Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the episodes, the seasons, and all that other good stuff.
And we're back on this first anniversary episode of Mark Who 42's WHOniverse, Doctor Who WHOniverse, that is. And we've got a lot of celebration. We just went to Hurricane Who, didn't we, Christian?
Yeah, we did.
And
that
we
was
had a lot
a great time. That was a great time.
And I have to praise you both. You guys didn't get into any trouble. I was searching online to hear about police having to come to the convention for anything from indecent exposure to to one of the guests, one of the celebrity guests, saying, "Hey, yeah, can I get a restraining order? There's this gentleman in a Mark Who-42 shirt who won't quit bothering me."
We almost got a restraining order from a Miss Ashbrook, but we'll talk about that.
Oh God,
we'll talk about that in the next segment.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I just have a restraining order within 50 feet. That's all.
Yeah, but we'll get back to that.
What, only 50 feet? Jeez, lightweight.
It's a lightweight.
Lightweight.
So we interviewed, or rather Christian interviewed, a ton of fans that were at this convention. And in this first segment, we've got Colin Spaull, who Ed actually interviewed 3 weeks ago, didn't you, Ed?
Yeah, no, Colin, I spoke with him at the Bon Voyage party. So I guess he's got to meet he's gotten to meet two different flavors of Mark Who-42 co-hosts.
We've got Paul-Bradford from Ghost Hunters International. He's a great guy. He's very British and
no, that's all you can come out with.
All I can come out with. No,
great guy and very British.
He's a great guy and he's British.
Okay. And we've got
coffee.
And finally we've got Tony Lee, who of course does the Doctor Who comic book for IDW, which of course, well, is ending, but that's sad. So let's go listen to some of these interviews now, and we'll start off.
Let's listen to the interviews so that I don't start curling up into a ball and crying because the comics are ending.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for reminding me.
Yeah.
I need a hug now.
That's my job here on the
Christian, I need a hug.
We're going to start off with Christian, and he's going to interview a girl named Romana. Christian?
Hello there, and what's your name?
Romana.
Romana, okay. And where are you from, Romana?
Florida.
All right, Romana, Florida. I've never been there. I hear the weather's fine back there. Now, would you consider yourself classic or New Who?
Both.
Sure.
Originally classic, kind of morphed into New Who.
Morphed into the new one? And who's your favorite Doctor?
Probably Tennant.
Tennant? Okay, and why Tennant?
He's hot.
All right, that works for me there. What do you think of Peter Capaldi as the 12th Doctor?
You know, I think of Peter Capaldi and I think about Torchwood. So I don't know. I think of him as,
that Roland
I don't want to
Frobisher.
cuss, but he's, the bad guy.
So you remember him in Frobisher, and you remember him in The Fires of Pompeii.
Frobisher?
Yeah, he's Frobisher actually in Torchwood. That's his character's name, John Frobisher.
Okay. I think
and not the
Frobisher,
penguin.
I think the penguin.
Yeah, the penguin from the Sixth Doctor series. Yeah, everybody.
Okay.
A very few people who know that dude there. And he was also in The Fires of Pompeii.
Right.
All right. Well, Romana, thank you so much for your time. It's been a pleasure.
Oh, no problem.
Howdy, folks. What's your names?
Chastine.
Scott. Hey, Scott and Chastine. Where are you from?
Mount Dora.
Mount Dora?
Florida.
It took both of you to answer that question. That's awesome. Well, welcome there. Welcome. And do you consider yourselves classic or new Whovians?
Started classic, but I enjoy both.
But you enjoy both?
Yeah, I would agree. I definitely started with classic with my grandfather back in the 70s.
We evolved. You're like me. We evolved from the old series and went on to the new thing. And who's your favorite Doctor?
Classic, 5th Doctor, Peter Davidson. New series, David Tennant.
David Tennant. Now, if the TARDIS showed up at your doorstep and the door opened, which Doctor do you want extending out your hand to take you into the TARDIS? Would it be 5 or 10? Oh, a stomper question.
That's a stomper
question.
The 5th.
The 5th Doctor. Okay, that's right. And
he would take better care of me.
Oh, there you go.
I mean,
he has the celery on standby.
And he has the celery on standby. I mean, he gave his life up for a companion.
Exactly.
I would be in safe hands with him.
Gotcha.
My first was, of course, Tom Baker, so that's always your favorite, right?
Yeah, he's mine too.
But I would have to say 10th is also of the classic. Of the modern, I like the 10th.
Gotcha. And last question, what do you think about Peter Capaldi as the 12th Doctor?
I think it's awesome.
Yeah, I think he's going to be great.
I think it's awesome. It's the show evolves, and that's the great thing about Doctor Who is because if there's not a particular Doctor you like, just wait a bit. There'll be someone that comes along that you will like, and I like them all.
Now, against the grain, because of the little outbreak of fangirls that came out over there, do you think he's too old to play, or do you think he's just the right fit? I mean,
hell no. I think he's anybody can be I mean, there is no set age. I mean, my goodness, he's like, what, 1,000 years old?
Yeah.
900, although I think he's lying, you know.
And he looks good as Matt Smith. Well, there you go.
I love them all, from Hartnell to Capelli. I'm excited. I can't wait to see him and see what he's going to do, because I think he's a really good actor, and as long as you have a good actor in the role, it's almost foolproof.
And I'm here with Colin Spaull. And gentlemen, you probably, for the most recent fans, you probably know him as Mr. Crane from The Age of Steel. He was also in Revelation of the Daleks. And welcome. I appreciate your time, Mr. Spaull.
That's my pleasure.
Thank you. I just have a few questions. Were you a big fan of Doctor Who before you were in Revelation?
I'd heard of it simply because I'm great friends with Frazer Hines, who's Jamie McCrimmon. And Frazer and I have been friends for well over 50 years now. And I knew that he was doing Doctor Who, and I think I probably caught a few episodes, but I was never that much interested in science fiction, but now I've sort of taken to it.
You've kind of grown on it.
Yeah, it's sort of grown on me. And then I got the part as Lilt in the episode The Revelation of the Daleks with Colin Baker, and then the rest is sort of history, really. I carried on and did it. 28 years later, I get to play Mr. Crane in The Age of Steel, the Rise of the Cybermen.
Awesome. So you're now becoming a science fiction fan after being in it twice.
Absolutely, I enjoy it. I wouldn't say I was desperately. I wouldn't desperately rush home to watch Doctor Who or something, but I watch it. I mean, I will say.
You appreciate it, but not the Whovian level yet. Not there yet.
Not that level yet, no.
Now, how does this job working... well, let's first off start out between Revelation and doing Age of Steel. I know there should be a significant difference as far as how working styles were working back then. Yep. What was the difference between working with Colin and David and working back then on Revelation and now working on Age of Steel?
What is the difference between doing the two? The fact that you had more rehearsal time. When I did the Colin Baker story, we actually sort of sat down and had in a rehearsal room and worked on it for a week, and then we did a technical run and then we recorded it. Nowadays, i.e. when I did the Age of the Steel and Rise of the Cybermen, I never actually worked with David Tennant. I had never had any scenes with him in that, but I spoke to him, met him obviously, because he was there at the same time.
Because your scenes were separate, you were in that trailer.
That's right, and we actually, our paths never crossed in the story.
Oh.
So, which is a great
So you
shame.
never got to see him at all?
Well, I saw him there on set and everything. Oh yeah, he was around, but I didn't work with him as such.
And how are the different personalities with working between David and Colin?
Much of a muchness. I got to know Colin much quicker because the rehearsal times were much longer. When we did the other story, they sort of send you up to Wales to film it, and you're just there for your 3 days filming or 4 days filming.
Right.
So you don't really get to hang around with them and get to know them as well as you do if you were actually rehearsing.
Right. And you weren't there much to see David much. You just met him.
Yeah.
Colin is larger than life.
Oh yeah, and of course
this is my first time meeting him, and I was like, wow.
Oh, absolutely. He's a nice guy, and of course I renewed our acquaintanceship by doing these conventions. So I worked with him. Last time we were together was in Atlanta, one in Timegate in Atlanta with Colin and I. It's great. He's a great character, and we get on really well. Nice chap.
And how much has Doctor Who changed your life since you've appeared? Have you been more in conventions?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I seem to spend more time in the States than I do in England at the moment, which is lovely. I love coming. I love coming to the States. I don't mind travelling. So.
How do you like Florida?
Oh, I love Florida. We've just come off the cruise, the Caribbean cruise,
That's right.
which was really, really good. My wife thinks I'm working, but of course,
I would love this job.
she doesn't believe me, and I say I am actually working.
No, Colin is working. We're saying it right now. So if you want to record this and take this around, he's doing a fantastic job. We'll vouch for him. Well, thank you so much for your time, Colin.
Pleasure.
I appreciate that. I got to take you to Disney World sometime.
We managed a couple of days in Disney World because we came off the cruise. Had a week to kill before this started. So I worked with Frazer Hines and myself. And
which park did you go to? Which park did you go to?
Epcot. And the one with Space Mountain.
Magic Kingdom.
Magic Kingdom.
And which one is your favorite of the two?
I liked a couple of rides in there and a couple of rides in the other. I just thought it was great.
Were you there for the Food and Wine Festival?
Yes.
Is that great?
Yeah, had a bit to drink, a bit to eat. Not necessarily in that order.
Yeah, there you go.
But
So you drink around the world. How far
Drink
did you
around
get?
the world.
Like,
What?
get to Germany, pass out.
Yeah, no, I got to Germany, and then we arrived at London. I thought, oh no, I'm
back at home.
bloody home now. Drinking English beer in an English pub.
Exactly. Well, there's fish and chips. Oh, who cares?
Yeah, that was great. Really, really good fun.
Oh, thank you for your time, Colin.
Once again, it's a pleasure.
And hi, what's your name?
Terry Smith.
And Terry, where are you from?
Justin, Texas.
Justin, Texas. Awesome. And are you considered a classic or a new Whovian?
Classic.
Classic. And what's your favorite doctor?
Tom Baker.
Tom Baker. Scarfboard. Good. And what do you think of the decision of Peter Capaldi as the new 12th Doctor?
I think it's gonna be different than the way they've been going in the recent past, and I think it's gonna be good. Can't wait to see it.
No, are you familiar with Peter's work?
In his episode of the volcano,
the Fires of Pompeii.
Fires of Pompeii, yes.
And did you see him in the Torchwood, Children of Earth?
Yes.
As
yes,
John Frobisher.
Yes.
What did you think of that?
I like that.
Did you think that's a character that could emulate into the Doctor?
I wouldn't have realized it at the time, but I can't wait to see how he does. But I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be, a testament to his ability as an actor to change from the bad guy to the Doctor.
And I've got a team of me with me today, and I've got, starting from my left,
Darian, Chelsea, Rachel,
Brett. Excellent, guys. Where are you from?
Jacksonville, Florida.
Jacksonville, Florida. Awesome there. Now, would you consider yourselves classic or new Whovians?
Both. Yeah.
Both? It started, if you heard that, it started a chain effect. He said both, and everybody's agreed to it. There. And here's a toughie. Which is your favorite Doctor?
Probably the 4th.
The 4th?
The 8th. Yeah.
The 8th? Second? 11. We have no consensus in this room today. None whatsoever. And what do you think about Peter Capaldi as the 12th Doctor?
I'm excited. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's going to be great.
I think it's nice that they're getting someone a bit older to play the part.
Who are you most excited to see here at Hurricane Who today?
Oh gosh.
And there was a cheer. All 3 O's come out over there all at one time.
I'm excited to see everyone. I don't think I can really pick out a favorite.
No favorites today, so everybody's good to go.
And this is my first convention, so I'm just excited.
It's actually my first Hurricane Who convention that I've ever been to. Well, thank you, time for you guys. I mean, you have a wonderful Whovian day today.
Thank you.
And now we're here with Paul Bradford from Ghost Hunters International, who is also a big Whovian fan. And I had the pleasure of being watching one of his panels. It was so awesome, the story and the histories of Ghost Hunter International. And let's go see. I also know, Paul, you're a big Whovian. What would you say? Are you more classic or new Whovian?
Oh, everything. There's not. I don't think you should class the classic and the. I mean, I grew up watching Doctor Who. Obviously, I'm English, so it's in the blood. So my blood runs blue. But yeah, I think my first ever episode was actually the 5 Doctors. So it's 1983 when I first started watching Doctor Who, and obviously I watched it all through growing up and such. And then obviously with the reboots, it just became even more and more popular. And as soon as David Tennant takes over, the world loves Doctor Who, and I love that. I love the fact that. Because when I first came to America like 7 years ago, you could hardly see Doctor Who anywhere. Like you go to the store, there's no merchandise whatsoever. And now, you see people wearing shirts, and you see people, with their sonic screwdrivers and fezzes and all this stuff. And it's all because of Doctor Who, and I think that's fantastic. And you're seeing the kids. There's so many kids wandering around here, dressed as angels or Cybermen, and it's amazing to see that the children now, like 4, 5, 6-year-olds, are into Doctor Who. I love that, and that's just
parenting doing right.
It's parenting done right. But it just shows that the Doctor Who is for all ages. It's safe. It gives a good moral message, and I love it. I'd love to see so many generations. There's so many generations here, old and young. It's brilliant.
Now, you said you came in on the 5 Doctors, which is one of my favorite episodes. You came in Peter Davison. Is he also your favorite Doctor?
No. Well, yeah, he's one of my favorites. But actually, Tom Baker is my Doctor.
Oh, okay.
Tom Baker is ultimately my favorite Doctor. Like I say, Peter Davison's a close third.
Oh no.
Well, David Tennant, like I said, took the role and just owned it. I mean, he totally owned it. Peter Davison and Sylvester McCoy are sort of tied third, because I love McCoy. I absolutely love Sylvester McCoy.
When it came into the dark days, how did you feel about that? I mean, did you continue reading on the books, or did you kind of abandon it?
It wasn't abandoned, because I was still sort of I was just rewatching a lot of the stuff. I mean, back in the UK, what happened is when we started getting satellite television, they started rerunning a lot of the old stuff.
Right.
And so I was just basically watching all those, like a lot of the old black and whites and stuff. They basically ran it all in order. It was on UK Gold, and every Saturday they would run the marathon, and I would just basically watch. So it was basically as like it is now. I just sit and watch Doctor Who every Saturday.
Right.
So no, I didn't abandon it. I just and at the end of the day, I was still trying to build stuff and things. And I ended up building a Dalek back in the UK. I built a full-size Dalek, which was from the Remembrance of the Daleks. It was a special weapons version.
And you mentioned about on your panel, you mentioned you built a TARDIS at your office.
Yeah, I actually.
Shadowway could work on that. Could work on something like that.
Since I moved to the US, what's funny is I built the TARDIS, and then it became popular. But yeah, I built a TARDIS in my backyard. I built K9. I have a full-size, fully working K9, and I'm currently building a new full-size Dalek. So I'm now working the robotics. So most of the shell of that's done, and it's just now a case of sort of the little bits and the details. But yeah, I get bored, and so I build things. So yeah, my Dalek is the current build right now.
Going back on the topic of Dark Days, and I was there too. When it got finally rebooted in '96 with McGann, and being heard it was being filmed in Canada.
Yes.
How was your reaction to that? And were you kind of like hoping that?
Apprehensive. I was apprehensive. But ultimately, I mean, it's Doctor Who.
Right.
So at the end of the day, it may not be my favourite story, but the fact is it's still Doctor Who, and it's still canon, and it's still, I mean, Paul McGann is the 8th Doctor, so, and he took that role and the audio books and the Big Finish and all that. I mean, he just basically took the role. He's a very good Doctor.
And just I wish he had more episodes. But
I'd love to see him in a lot more things. Definitely.
And when it got rebooted with Chris Eccleston, how did you feel? Were you a little skeptical this time?
No, I was over the moon. They had such promos and such in the UK. I mean, it was all rumor there's going to be a new Doctor, he's coming back, and I was like, really? And then all the newspapers were like, who's going to be the Doctor? Who is it? Sort of, I think James Nesbitt was even mentioned as a Doctor at one point. And when Eccleston was named, I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I'd seen him in Gone in 60 Seconds, so that's about all I knew of him. So I was like, okay, he was the bad guy in Gone in 60 Seconds. But okay, let's So I watched it, loved it.
But as long as it's not Nicolas Cage,
right?
Or Angelina Jolie.
It had to be at least from the UK. See, when they announced that he didn't want to do it anymore, and they were having David Tennant, I was like, who the hell is David Tennant? And I saw a picture from him from Casanova. I was like, oh god, it was a Casanova. Yeah, it was Casanova. And when I saw the picture of him from Casanova, I was like, oh god, why? And within 2 episodes, I was like, this guy is good. And it just went from there. Yeah. So, but I may have been apprehensive, but at the same time, I was always very excited.
How do you feel about Peter Capaldi taking on the role?
I can't wait. I honestly cannot wait for Capaldi to take over. Capaldi's 55. William Hartnell was 55 when he took over, when he took the role as a Doctor. I am very excited to see somebody now who comes in, and I'm hoping the storyline is going to stop revolving around the companion. There's going to be no love interest. There's going to be, it's going to get back to what it was. A traveller around time and space, saving worlds, defeating Daleks, and beating the Cybermen. It's going to, hopefully, this is in my head how, like I said, I'm excited, apprehensive, excited, and hopefully it will be how it was. Tom Baker time, running around, saving the world. That's what it should be. That's what was Doctor Who.
And kind of weed out
using
the
your brain.
parts.
Yeah, use your brain, and you can have if you wanted to have that. You had the Amy Rory thing, but then you also had the Amy Doctor, and then you had the River Doctor, and that arc book was just so damn confusing and, to be honest, sometimes sort of contradicting itself. I think it needs to stop trying to be more than what it is and be what it should be and save the world. Use your brain, be a moral message, and just be good old-fashioned family fun.
Ghost Hunters International, check it out. Where can we find Ghost Hunters International?
Netflix. Yeah, but you can check out my Facebook, because obviously I do a lot of Doctor Who stuff. And check out my Facebook, which is Paul-Bradford GHI, or Twitter, which is GHI Paul. Now I also design sort of parody shirts, which you can find on Redbubble. I actually have a Redbubble account, which is it's Bad Wolf, but it's B4DW0LF.
Oh, okay.
Every now and again, but again, everything's on my Facebook. I post everything to Facebook and Twitter and things like that, so follow me on there and you'll find everything else.
Paul, appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Enjoy Hurricane Who.
Oh, always.
It's nice to meet a big Whovian in there.
Oh, I am.
And folks, I have royalty standing before me. I have Bill Corrales, voice actor. Did I get it right?
That's correct. Oh,
awesome.
You faithful peasants.
Awesome. And I have the lovely
Kim Corrales.
Oh.
No relation. No, we're brother and sister.
What's that? I was going to say second cousin removed, but I think that was a close shot. That was a close shot.
Right on point.
Kim is actually our expert Whovian, and where you guys from?
Tampa.
She's from Tampa.
Why you had to look at her for that?
I'm from Tallahassee.
It's just
The
really
two of us.
today.
We're so far removed now.
Now, Kim, do you consider yourself classic or new Whovian?
New.
New Whovian?
Yeah.
Who's your favorite Doctor?
It's hard to say, but I've been really enjoying Matt Smith's portrayal of the Doctor.
When did you come into the series?
Probably last year.
Last year. What was the episode that made you a Whovian?
From the very beginning with 9, the first episode.
Okay, so Rose with
yes,
Eccleston.
definitely.
And Bill, you're just getting into this, right?
Yes. He's stuck on the Martha series, and he hasn't gone past Martha.
I just saw the Lazarus Experiment episode.
Now, is there some biasness to us? Do you like Martha? Or
I mean,
that's
she's
my
still
companion.
so new in my mind that I'm still trying to adjust. I'm so far behind everybody. I'm sorry. But
that's okay. On Netflix, we'll have it somewhere eventually there. And what do you think about Peter Capaldi as the 12th Doctor? And you, Bill, I think you should think about that. What do you think of Peter Capaldi?
What do you think about that one?
I'm not sure because I haven't seen him in too many things.
So you haven't seen him in Fires of Pompeii or the Torchwood episode? Because he's actually been
in
there.
Pompeii one.
You saw the Pompeii one?
Yeah. So now that you mention it, I'm like, wait, I remember his face.
And what do you think about his acting in there?
I mean, I think he did good. It's always hard to get used to a new Doctor. Period. I mean, I think we'll probably end up liking him.
I don't know if you've seen that diagram, the rotation of regenerations. It's like, I hate him. Yeah. Okay, I'll get used to him. I love him. Oh, why are you going away? That's the rotation of the regenerations there.
Oh, that's going to happen. Just a snowball effect, real fast.
Exactly.
Because I think, he's going to be a real good actor for this one. He's solid.
He's kind of like, the only other actor I know about is Hugh Laurie. Because when he finally took on House, nobody knew about him. And then he had an IMDb going off the charts and stuff like that. So we're going to give Peter a run. We'll give him a test. And do you think what he did in Fires of Pompeii, that kind of acting, do you think that can transfer over to the Doctor? Or do you think he needs to do something, change it up a bit there?
I don't know. It depends on, I guess, where the Doctor's new personality is going to head towards. Because Matt Smith is all childlike, right? Mm-hmm. So, where do you go from there? I mean, so I guess it has to do with, what Moffat's thinking of having him evolve into.
Right.
Oh, so you think we're going to kind of see more of a Doctor who's more like, you kids, get off my lawn? Or where are we going with this? We'll find out.
We'll find out.
Because he can't be 9 or 10 with the war hero or the
well, he's a little bit older
lover,
than that, so he can't really do the 9 or 10 thing. So he can't be the fangirl's favorite right now. So we'll wait and see. Alrighty, thank you so much. Enjoy Hurricane Who. I appreciate it.
It was a pleasure.
I have today
Katarina,
and she's dressed up as a lovely traveling TARDIS, I should say. Oh, we'll plug that one up there, guys. Hey, where are you from, Katarina?
I'm from here in Orlando.
Oh, awesome. What parts of Orlando?
Near Davenport.
Near Davenport? Okay. Are you considered classic or new Who?
I'm more new Who.
You're more new Who?
I'm trying to get into classic Who, making my way through, but I love new Who.
Got to start somewhere there. And who's your favorite Doctor right now?
David Tennant.
David Tennant?
Yes.
Awesome there. And what do you think about Peter Capaldi as the 12th Doctor?
I'm very excited. I think he's a fantastic actor, so he's going to do an amazing job with it. I'm just excited to see where it goes.
Great. Well, thank you, and we will see you later then.
All right, thank you.
Have fun at the convention.
Thank you.
I'm going to be interviewing, but at the same time selling my stuff at people. Buy my shiny thing.
This is the incredible...
Smoke my shiny thing.
This is the incredible comic book writer Tony Lee.
Hello.
And I believe you are also a big fan of Doctor Who, major fan.
Yes, of course I am. Absolutely.
And how do you feel about coming to Florida and being here at Hurricane Who?
It's my third time in 4 years, I think. 5 years? No, 5 years. I was at the first one, the third one, and the fourth one.
Awesome.
So I think I'm allowed next year off for good behaviour. But then I think probation-wise I've got to come back.
Do they let you go off for good behavior like that, or do you have to sign a contract?
I've had to be very good.
Now,
I've had to be very good this year.
Now, how did you get your start in comic book writing? What passioned your life?
Well, there's two stories for this, because the first story was obviously I contacted DC and Marvel in 2003. I was in New York with meetings, and I contacted them and said, hey, look, I'm in town for like one day. It was Easter 2003, and I said, I'm in town for one day. I'd like to come have a chat with you. I'm an English writer, and I want to write comics. And they met with me, and they talked to me, and Marvel took me on to do a couple of things. But the fact was I'd been writing about 15 years before that point, and if I hadn't done that, then they wouldn't even have looked at me.
Right.
So, I mean, my writing history was I was a journalist, and then I worked in like marketing and PR, and I did copywriting and things like that, and then I did advertising, and it just came through that way. Thank you so much. I do apologise. I've got a lovely lady who's giving me a cup of tea. If you can hear by my voice, I definitely need hot drinks as much as possible.
I don't know how much milk.
Oh, that's fine. Hold on a second.
I think this is the first time we've done a podcast where we've had to pause for tea.
Thank you so much.
Cheryl, thank you for bringing that tea.
I will warn you, I did not taste it.
It looks lovely. It's nice and brown. That's all I care about. Thank you so much. Thank you.
How did you get your start with Doctor Who, and who is your favorite Doctor?
I got my start. I'd been hassling Clayton Hickman of Doctor Who magazine since I decided to get back into comics. And I'd been pitching a story that was called Old Friend. And it was, at the time, it was the 8th Doctor returned with his companion at the time. I'm trying to think of I think it was Destro or something like that. They met they met an old man who they realised was actually a future companion of a future Doctor.
Right.
When he was a teenager, and now he's an old man, and the Doctor doesn't know who he is, but has to pretend he does, and it's all that non-linear kind of thing. But it's really sad because the guy dies at the end. And I was pitching this to Clayton, and Clayton's like, this is too dark, you can't do this. But I was talking to him, I was constantly contacting him about stuff. And then I'd done Marvel, I did an X-Men book. And I was talking to Clayton by pure chance one day. And I said, if you ever need anything, and he said, well, actually, someone's just dropped out. We have a last-minute spot to fill.
Oh, really?
Have you got any ideas? And I said, sure. When do you need them by? And this was 9:30 in the morning. And he said, about 11 would be great.
Oh, God.
So I pitched him something like about 12 ideas, bam, 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 bam. And he picked 2 of them, and we converted them together. And it became what was called FAQ. And FAQ was done in 2006 in the magazine. It's a 3-parter. Not one of my best ones, because by the time it went there from, it was a 9th Doctor story, then it turned into a 10th Doctor story. It was, I think, a second 10th Doctor story that came out, or the third one. When we were writing it, we'd had the 20 minutes that Tennant turns up at the end of the Christmas special. That's all we had to know what he was going to be like. It was a real difficult story, but I did it, and it got me, obviously, a Doctor Who credit, so to speak.
Oh, there you go.
And then about a year or so later, IDW got the license, and I've known them for a few years, and they knew that I'd written Doctor Who, and I was one of the few writers that they talked to who had. And Gary Russell was doing a series, and they wanted me to do a 6-parter that worked alongside it. And I threw them 3 or 4 ideas. One of them was absolutely bat-crap mad and had everything in it, and all the Doctors and all the companions and all the bad guys, because I thought, you'll never go for this one, but you might go for the one that's in the middle. And they went for that one. And I went, oh, okay, that's nice. And so I wrote The Forgotten. And because it was a primer, because it was showing all the classic Doctors, and no one else had done that, it became a fan favourite. So they had a lot of people liking it, a lot of people wanted to see more. And the next thing I know, I'm chatting to IDW saying, that was a nightmare, that was the hardest thing I've ever done, to try and get all this together. And they went, awesome, do you want to do an ongoing?
And the rest is Tony Lee history.
And I cried. And funny enough, the first story of The Ongoing was the story I wanted to pitch them for The Forgotten.
Oh my goodness.
Changed a little bit because Silver Scream is the Doctor and he meets two new companions and they have an adventure. But the original version was it was the Doctor and Rose meet. Doctor and Rose post school reunion meet the Fourth Doctor and Sarah Jane.
Oh.
And the idea being is Rose is actually seeing Sarah Jane.
That is an awesome
and
idea.
And having Rose knowing Sarah Jane and how she became, wants to tell Sarah, look, seriously, you need to back away a little bit because it's really going to hurt you, but can't because of all the problems.
Right.
And obviously we never did it, but...
Just weeding out the competition.
Yeah, this is it, so you can kind of slow that down.
Now, I have a question from our showrunner, Mark Baumgarten. He actually asked, speaking of which of IDW, he says, how do you feel about IDW losing the contract?
I'm actually, in a way, I'm kind of glad that they did, because I think it's the same as the fact that every 3 or 4 years a Doctor has to leave so a new one can come in to shake up the show. I think we kind of needed to have a new publisher come in to shake up the franchise and do something new with it, because they will bring in new people, they'll bring in new artists, and they'll do their own thing. I don't know who's got it. I think I'm hearing rumours it could be Titan or Boom or someone like that. The downside is that I know that, my 4-parter I'm writing now was going to end this run, but they're going to start with a brand new number 1 written by Mark Waid. And Mark Waid is like comic royalty as far as I'm concerned. I love his stuff and he's a fan, and it would have been an amazing series. And more importantly, I was pitching a sequel to the Assimilation 2, or Assimilation Squared. That was going to be the Doctor and Clara on Deep Space Nine. And nice. we'd worked the pitch out, we'd done it all, we'd got it all sorted out, and it was going to be brilliant. And I really wanted to do it. So, and of course now that will never happen.
Just hearing that subject title, if that had come out, I would have read that.
And there was one, I was pitching a mini-series I wanted to do, which was partly what because I pitched to the 50th anniversary series, which became Prisoners in Time, and I didn't get it. But my idea was I wanted to do the 11th Doctor regenerates after being hit by anti-time, and he regenerates into 10. And then he regenerates into 9, into 8, and he's constantly remembering who he is, but going backwards.
Gotcha.
And I wanted to have it that he had to work out what to do, and it ended up with him as the first Doctor, going back to 1963 to where it all started, and him and the actual first incarnation touching, and therefore kick-starting everything. And it was going to be weird. It was really fun.
The third Big Bang.
But I just wanted to do the Doctor regenerating backwards. So I thought that'd be fun.
That is a novel idea.
But now that will obviously never happen. So I'm just telling it to everybody, so at least I can say I was going to do that.
There you go. Now, what future works are you coming up? What's in the future for Tony Lee?
We're still finishing off the final Doctor Who story. It changed because obviously I wrote it as it was the end of an era. It was the last of the run, and I knew it was. I kind of knew that it would be the last chance I'd do to write Doctor Who anyway, because there's so many people who want to write Doctor Who. Even if IDW had kept it for another 5 years, there's so many people who want to write it. So I had a fun adventure and I wrote it down, and then IDW turned to me at San Diego and said, well, we've lost the license. Well, I think it wasn't they didn't lose the license. It was mutually decided that they weren't going to continue the license. They they can take that money and go to other franchises, and the BBC can look at other people. So they sort of went about that. And at that point they realised that even though Paul Cornell's is the last story, he'd already written that. That was written as an annual fill-in for the summer. So the last actual writing would be me. And suddenly it was, well, what can we do to make this more than just a story? And what was brought up was the Doctor Who, the 10th Doctor run. I'd ended the very last story-based scene of the final episode links directly to the first ever episode of The Ongoing. It's a party in Hollywood. And they said, let's do something like that. So the very last episode of the ongoing series links all the way back to my first episode of the mini-series. So it goes back to The Forgotten. And I'm just, it's just, I'm linking everything. And of course I'd already written the story, so we had to work this into the story while not actually affecting the story. So I'm doing that, we're still finishing that. I've just finished the script for the fourth and final Starbuck, Battlestar Galactica miniseries with the Dirk Benedict Starbuck, and it's kind of like a Starbuck Year One, which is good. I'm moving into TV and movies now. We're working on moving a TV screenplay pilot script with Lisa Zlotov, who's did MacGyver, created MacGyver, and we worked together on the MacGyver comic, and now we're working on some TV stuff. I've got a couple of screenplays that are out at the moment that I'm putting together. I'm doing The Mild Bunch, which is a film with Frazer Hines and Colin Baker and a few others, which is kind of like a modern-day Western.
Well, where will we be able to see that?
Well, it's currently with it's been optioned by DLT Productions, who in England do My Family, the sitcom My Family. But whether they develop it or whether somebody else comes on board, it's still in that discussion. But we'd hopefully, in an ideal world, we'll be filming it pretty much April, May next year, because you've got Colin Baker, you've got Frazer Hines, someone's talking to me. You've got Colin Baker, you've got Frazer Hines, there's John Chalice, who plays Boise in Only Fools and Horses, all people like that. I mean, it's going to be great, but again, you've got to try and get it as quickly as possible and get it done and get it put together. But that's written, it's been done for a while, so we'll see how that goes. I'm doing a web series called Godfather, which is, again, with Frazer Hines and an amazing London actor called David Monteith. And it's about this guy who's basically a mid-40s, 6'4" black guy who discovers that his father isn't his father, and that his actual biological father is a guy played by Frazer Hines, who not only is his father, but also believes that he's the mortal incarnation of the god Zeus. And it's kind of like a road movie with these two guys going around. So I'm doing that as well.
So you're busy now.
Yeah, I've just finished.
Just got a few things going.
Wow. I have a whiteboard that has about 12 different things at the moment that I'm doing. It's insane. But if I didn't, I'd get bored. So it's always
well, it looks like you're not going to get bored for quite some time there. Tony, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for doing the interview with us.
Oh, Tony Lee. Tony Lee is a very funny guy, and thank you to Colin Spaull, Paul Bradford, and Tony Lee for that. We're going to go to another commercial break. When we come back, we've got some other interesting guests. Isn't that right, Christian?
Oh, yeah. We got the cream of the crop now.
Oh, yeah. We've got the cream of the crop. We've got Winston Churchill. We've got Grace-Holloway. We've got Jamie McCrimmon. And we've got the doctor. Who they are? We'll be right back and let you know.
Hello, my name's Frazer Hines, also known as Jamie McCrimmon. You're listening to Mark Who 42's podcast.
Are you looking for a weekly dose of gaming news and retro? And check out Off the Cuff, available Fridays on Geekcast Radio Network from the producers of XRG. New name, same.
Tooncast is dedicated to the cartoons we grew up with. 100 episodes and more make up one of the GCRN's most popular podcasts. Join hosts TFG and Mike, Optimus Solo, Terror the Rising Star, and tons of guest hosts. We also have voice actor and writer interviews. Tune in to Tooncast as we look back on the cartoons that defined us as geeks. You can find Tooncast on iTunes and the web at www.geekcastradio.com. Tune in.
Oh, God, commercial breaks are tiring. Oh, woo!
No, commercial breaks are good. You can,
they are good.
They are good. If you need to go to the bathroom, you go to the bathroom. If you need to grab a glass of water, need to make a run to the fridge. Come on, commercial. The only time I think commercials are tiring is if you're watching the Super Bowl. You really can't get up during the commercials, otherwise you miss a really good commercial, and everybody's like, "Hey, did you see that funny ass commercial?" No, I didn't. I had to go get Doritos. Oh, you missed it. It was really hilarious.
Oh, our first anniversary show is going great, I think. And now we've got the second half of the Hurricane Who interviews. We've got a lot, and I mean a lot more coming up here. We've got Ian-mcneice. Oh, wow. It's Winston Churchill himself. He's been on Doc Martin. He was in, what was that movie that you bring
Dune.
up, Christian? Oh, he was in Dune, but there was another movie.
He was in the. Remember, it was the Dune miniseries. It was on the Sci-Fi Channel. It was the Sci-Fi Channel Dune. It wasn't the David Lynch Dune.
Okay, we've got somebody who has a 50-foot restraining order on Christian. Daphne Ashbrook, Grace-Holloway. We've got Frazer Hines again. Ed, you interviewed him as well, but we have a much more in-depth interview with Frazer this time around with Christian. And finally.
Hey, Christian, when you interviewed Frazer Hines, did you guys get to talk about beers?
No.
I got to talk beers with Frazer Hines. I got to share a Miller Lite story with Frazer Hines.
Are we comparing?
No, we're not. I don't want to compare. This is not to compare. And finally, on this segment, we're going to have Colin Baker himself talk about many things.
Woohoo! We got ourselves a doctor.
The brothers. But we won't get into that yet. We'll let you listen to that. We're going to play that for you right now. So let's start off with the Flesh Doctor.
And we have the lovely, well, Flesh Doctor kind of thing. Yes, we have the Flesh Doctor here. How you doing? But I know that's not your name.
Well, my name's actually Holly, but yes, I am the Flesh Doctor right now.
But looking awesome. And the only Flesh Doctor I've ever seen, so kudos to that. Thank you. And where are you from, Holly?
I'm actually from Tampa, Florida. I'm not around from here.
Would you consider yourself a new Whovian or a classic Whovian?
Well, I started with 11 with the Christmas episode with the fish, so I'm relatively new. I have gone back as far as watching some of the thirds, and he, as far as the classic Doctor, he's my favorite right now, but I'm sure I'll get into the rest of them a little later on.
So we're working backwards. We're going forward and then working back there. Who's your favorite Doctor?
You never forget your first Doctor, so it's got to be 11.
It's got to be 11?
Yeah, it really does.
And last but not least, what do you think about Peter Capaldi being the 12th Doctor?
I'm heartbroken because, of course, my doctor is leaving, but I'm excited to move on from that whole love kind of thing, that companion spark that the doctors always kind of had.
Right.
And with this older Doctor, I'm kind of hoping that the character will develop more, and maybe the relationship between him and the companions will develop more.
So you want that mentor?
Yeah, sort of like that fatherly
instead of that
feel,
loving feel that's been kind of evolving through the first 3 rebooted episodes.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for doing the podcast. And hello, ladies. What are your names?
Christina.
Christina?
Mary.
Mary, nice to meet you. 4th Doctor outfit. She looks beautiful there. And you're not back with her. But she's got the scarf there.
Yeah. I was supposed to be Leela, but I haven't got my costume finished yet.
Okay.
It will be done for Time Lord Fest.
All right. We're going to see that. I'm going to hold you to that there. All right. And where are you two from?
We're from Clearwater area, Tampa Bay area.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yes.
Christina, are you considered a classic or a new Whovian?
Oh, in the middle.
In the middle?
In the middle. I'm not partial.
And Mary, what do you think?
Well, the new ones got me into it.
New ones got you in?
Yes, but then my mother made a comment that she watched it when she was little.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh my gosh, there's more. So I've watched all the classics I could get my hands on, all the ones that aren't missing.
Do you know when I was growing up on PBS, when they first had Tom Baker.
Yeah.
And they only ran Tom Baker episodes. So when he regenerated into Peter Davison, I thought that was the end of the series. And then somebody said, oh no, there's 3 doctors before him. And there's another series going on. So I know exactly how you feel coming into that there. And who's your favorite Doctor?
Oh, that's a hard question.
Why are you looking at her for an answer?
It would have to be the 10th, but I'm also in love with the 9th.
Okay, well, I won't tell the 10th that much. What do you think? What about you, Mom?
Oh, gosh. I really love them all.
Love them all?
I love them all, but
Gotcha.
if I have to pick a favorite,
Yeah.
it would have to be Tom Baker.
It would have to be Tom.
Even though I wasn't born, wasn't around in that era.
No, that's fine. That's all right. That's my doctor, so that's cool there.
Good.
And what do you think about Peter Capaldi as the 12th Doctor?
I'm not sure yet.
Not sure?
I have to see him as the Doctor acting and, getting into it.
Now, have you seen him in previous roles on Torchwood and in The Fires of Pompeii?
Yes.
Okay. What would you think? Do you think that kind of characteristic could be brought to the Doctor?
I think it could be. I think it could be good.
Okay, so the jury's still out. What do you think?
I just said yes.
Okay. You are against all the fangirls right now. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. Have a great time at Hurricane View. And I'm with here the legendary actor, Mr. Ian-mcneice. I was first introduced to him in a very weird set. I saw my first appearance with Ian is with Ace Ventura, the sequel, and I got to see him in Dune and then later in the series Rome. But my favorite of all time, he is Winston Churchill from the Doctor Who series. How you doing there, Ian?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
How you liking Hurricane Who and Florida?
Well, I wish the weather was a little better. I have to say, we got up this morning, it was raining, and that's not what you expect when you come from London. You expect Florida weather to be wonderful and warm and sunny and humid and all those things, and I felt like I was back in London again.
Well, it'll change. It'll get a little better, hopefully.
Well, everybody says it changes every 20 minutes, but I've been waiting all day for it to change. It's still raining.
But you're inside, too, so...
Inside,
hopefully
yeah.
it'll change out over there for you.
Inside, and then you have this thing called air conditioning, which we don't have in England, so I'm freezing.
Oh, no.
It's either raining or it's freezing inside here, so you can't get the warmth, but, I'm a complainer. What the hell?
Well, I'll bring you a jacket next time. How's that sound?
Good.
Now, first question, were you a Who fan before you took the mantle?
Yes, I mean, I actually grew up with, my doctor was Tom Baker, and I recently did a big Finnish production CD for them, in which I'd done one before, a radio thing for them, and it was at a studio in London, but this time I had to go outside of London. I had to go to a place called Tunbridge Wells, which is about 20 minutes, 2 hours outside of London. And I got there and I went, why are we going to this place in the middle of nowhere? And I got into this little recording studio, and I suddenly realized why I was there. Was coming through the door in his pajamas was Tom Baker clutching a cup of coffee. He lives 5 minutes down the road. So that's why we were there. So, that's why we were there. But it was a huge feather in my cap to actually do a Doctor Who with him. And there he was, Doctor again, the Doctor that I grew up with, being fantastic.
Now, how does this job and this gig differ from the others, from Rome and from Ace Ventura?
Well, this one seems to have a travel ticket attached to it, quite frankly. You're given this extraordinary thing that keeps on giving, which is people invite you to these conventions all over the world. I mean, I've just come off the back of an extraordinary trip. I've been to, it started in Los Angeles, and I went to Sydney in Australia, then to Melbourne, Brisbane, and then Auckland in New Zealand, all conventions, all Doctor Who-based conventions, and now ending up here in Florida, and then we go from here to Long Island to another convention. So it's extraordinary the way that this, and all these crazy people all over the place, all in their costumes, all coming up wanting autographs or to talk to you about the show. So it's amazing the way it goes on.
Do you enjoy the fandom that we got?
Oh, yes, of course, because, I mean, how could you not enjoy people coming up to you saying how wonderful they think you are and how wonderful you are in the show? I mean, your ego gets stroked, 150 times a day. It's the best tonic in the world that you could have.
Now, besides the conventions, how has coming into the world of Doctor Who changed your life?
I think in terms of it's certainly the kudos of being in the show, because now it's such an iconic show in London, because people they can have anybody they want. I mean, they get the cream of the crop as regards actors now. So to be in the show, it's quite a prestigious thing to do, and to be asked to be in it. So it's a hot property, should we say?
Yeah. Now, how do you feel about the new Doctor that they brought in, Peter Capaldi?
Peter Capaldi. I don't know whether many people know that he's an Oscar winner. I mean, that's apart from anything else. He won an Oscar some years ago for a short film that he directed and produced. So, I mean, that in itself is pretty cool. But I've known Peter Capaldi for years, and I worked with him many years ago. I mean, he's a consummate actor, rather like Matt himself. I mean, he's very energetic, very enthusiastic, and very good at what he does.
How are the acting differences working with Matt, and now, if hopefully Winston Churchill comes back, working with Peter?
Well, I think certainly working with Matt was he'd only been in doing his own Doctor for about a couple of appearances, so he was still very new to it and very nervous. But his energy was enthusiastic, and encouraging having me in there, welcomed me in. I mean, it was very, very nice to work with. And it shows in the show how inventive he is as an actor. I mean, I think he's a consummate actor himself.
Have you heard anything about Winston coming back?
No. I remember I was in a convention recently in King's Lynn, which is a town in north of England, and halfway through the convention, this girl arrived up at me and she said, "Have you seen this tweet?" And I went, "Oh, can I see it?" And she said, "Yes, of course." And in the tweet it says, Ian-mcneice says that he's going back into Doctor Who as Winston Churchill. And I went, "Oh, goodness me." And what had happened was I'd made a comment there and then about how much I'd like to go back into it. And that got, this went viral. I mean, it was, I got emails from people in America, from abroad, saying, "We're thrilled you're coming back." I had to put a retraction out there. It was huge. But what became apparent was actually how many people were pleased that I was ostensibly coming back. It was not true, but it seemed to be, I mean, if there is that following for Winston to come back, then, it would be great. And I'm sure I'd love to come back. And I'm sure having come back the way I did, which was in The Wedding of Riversong, where actually it was such an extraordinary story in time and space, it meant that he could come back actually at any point in any time frame, which would be wonderful.
Well, I think I can speak for everybody at Hurricane Who and myself, a big fan of yours. If you come back, I will be watching that moment.
That's
that comes
great.
on TV.
Thank you very much.
And Mr. Ian-mcneice, we appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. And I've got some lovely folks over here. I've got the 10th Doctor with me and a very lovely Rose. But their real names are...
Nicole.
Davey.
And David? If your last name's Tennant, I'm going to shake your hand.
It's not.
Okay, well, I'll still shake your hand anyway. There we go, Mr. David. Thank you, David and Nicole. And where are you guys from?
DeLand, Florida.
DeLand, Florida?
Orange City, close enough.
World travelers, I can tell right here. Are you considered classic or new Whovians?
New.
Definitely new.
New Whovians? Who brought you into the series?
I think I saw David Tennant in Harry Potter, and then I heard about Doctor Who, and I decided to check it out because I liked David Tennant.
So Harry Potter brought you into Doctor Who?
Yes, basically, yeah.
David, who brought you in?
Definitely David Tennant is
David
my
Tennant
doctor.
as well?
He is my doctor.
So, our favorite Doctor as well, huh?
Yes.
Gotcha. So, what do you think about Peter Capaldi as Doctor number 12?
I'm excited to see what he does with it. I was one of those people who was like, "Oh, he's older, but okay. I'm gonna see what happens first before I make any judgments."
Okay.
I'm excited.
The jury's out on this one.
I'm excited though. I think it'll be.
Have you seen him in Torchwood and on the Fires of Pompeii?
In the Fires of Pompeii, yeah. He was in Torchwood? I don't think I knew that.
He was in Children of Earth. He was a big role in that. Have you seen that one?
I have, but it's been a couple of years.
If you want to see really good drama, he was a very fine actor. He played John Frobisher. I'm not going to reveal too much with you, but he had a very pivotal role in that series.
I've seen it. I just can't remember now. It's been probably 2 years since I watched it.
And I'm assuming you saw...
Absolutely love Peter Capaldi in Fires of Pompeii. I thought he was brilliant. And then in Torchwood, you really get to see, like you're mentioning the thematic side, how well he can pull that off. I think a lot of people are so used to with Christopher Eccleston and then David Tennant and then Matt Smith having a young kind of nice sexy doctor or whatever, and now kind of going back to having a slightly aged, a little more mature doctor. Everybody's kind of just like, what?
Right.
I think it's going to be good. I think it'll be good for the series. I think it'll be good for the Doctor. I'm leaving judgment completely out. I'm hoping they let him cuss because, come on, it's Peter Capaldi.
I was thinking that too. I want him to be kind of crotchety.
Well, we're going to have to put on some explicit tags on.
Right?
It can be like Torchwood.
It's like, I'm the Doctor,
It's like Andrew Dice Clay stepping into the role. It's just like, no.
Right.
I've seen lots of funny gifs with him and Clara on Tumblr.
Yes, I've seen actual YouTube video.
And I wish that they could actually do that on the show, but too much cursing.
It's in the outtakes. It's in the gag reels. That's what we're going to be waiting for.
I'm hoping maybe Russell will come back and at least write an episode or two for Capaldi.
That would be nice.
I think that would be awesome.
That would be nice. I think he's put it behind him now, but
I think Russell's writing style would suit Capaldi really well, especially since he's already had him a couple of times. And I mean, when you work with somebody, you kind of know where their limits are, what they do great at, and you kind of and he could actually write to that,
Right.
and build on his strengths as you do. You don't want to, make any actor look bad, but
right.
Other than that, I think a lot of people are just giving up on him too soon. I'm just like, give him a chance. Wait and judge, or why judge? But wait to judge till you see him on screen.
Well, folks, thank you so much for your time. Enjoy Hurricane Who. I'm here with the legendary Daphne Ashbrook. I wouldn't say legendary. She is just wildly amazing.
Oh,
Daphne
you are
Ashbrook.
too kind.
There we go. There. First of all, how do you enjoy Florida and Hurricane Who? How's everything going down here?
Oh my gosh, it's been so much fun, and every single day there's been a complete different climate change. So
yes.
We've had the hot, humid day the first day. We've had the rain and crazy wind yesterday, and then today it was crisp and like a nice
This
nice
is
autumn.
theme park weather now. This
Right?
Got to go to Disney World today.
So yeah, it's been wonderful, and the people have been just as sweet as can be. Really,
awesome,
yeah. No, I've just had the best time.
Gravy. Now, have you been a Doctor Who fan before you took your role in 1996?
No, I didn't know anything about Doctor Who at all, and it wasn't until I was on the set with Paul and Sylvester and Philip Siegel, the producer, and Jeffrey Sachs, the director, and Matthew, the writer, where I started to get educated, and they started to fill me in on what I was getting myself into.
So you did not know the history, the past 26 years that had happened?
Nope.
You're just, I'm going in here, it's a new show, I got a paycheck coming, let's do this.
Yeah, and I really liked the role. I mean, I was smitten, with the script. I thought it was really interesting and different, and I maybe partly because I was so ignorant of the history of Doctor Who. It was kind of new and exciting and something really different.
Well, apparently you're not alone. A lot of people in this convention started off with the 2000 with Christopher Eccleston.
Right.
Are now coming in now. They're like, oh my goodness, this has had a huge history. What's this all about?
Right.
Going
America's
back to
catching
that.
up still. Yeah.
When you took the role of Dr. Grace Holloway, did you know what was going to be happening after you got off? I've heard when you went to London and after the infamous kiss.
Yes.
That you were kind of worried about going over there after the Whovians heard what had happened, and now coming back over there. How did they treat you?
They've been wonderful, actually.
Oh,
Yeah,
good.
everybody's been very kind to my face.
Good.
Who knows what they say when I walk away, but I don't care.
No,
so long as they're nice to my face, I don't care.
that's okay. I got jealous of Paul McGander in the movie, so
Oh,
I was
all right.
like, and I'm trying to test this out now. I want to see if I'm a better kisser than McGann.
Oh, really?
Oh, maybe later. I don't know. I'm just testing. It could be testing this out there later on. So you have done productions like JAG. What differentiated other things that you have accomplished from Doctor Who?
Well, the big difference I can say right off the top of my head is that this has legs, as they say in the business, I guess, which just means it keeps going. It can keep on going. It'll walk until it drops. So.
Right.
That's different. JAG went for a lot of years, but and it really did have more than one life, because I know that it struggled in the beginning to get its audience, and it sort of got rid of it, and then they brought it back, and they put it on a different channel, and it went through a few lifetimes itself, but then it hung in there and became fairly popular towards the end of its run. I think they were on for 10 years or something crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, but I don't go to conventions for JAG.
There you
Do you
go.
know what I mean?
There you go. Speaking of which, how has your life changed now that the series is rebooted and you are now have been part of a huge thing that is Doctor Who?
Well, I've been. This has been a busy year. I've been doing conventions all year, and this month is incredibly busy. So. Because of the 50th anniversary, I think everybody's kind of at fever pitch right now. Who knows if it'll carry through the next year? Some people think it will, because that's really the anniversary year. But we'll see. We'll see how it. But that's it's something I never did before. So this has changed my life. It's a whole world all unto itself,
yes.
and I never thought anybody would want my autograph, really, or to know what I think of anything. So it was really nice. It's nice for the ego.
Now, what's in the future for Daphne, and is there anything going on in the future, maybe, with Doctor Who besides Big Finish?
Right now, Yeah, Big Finish is something that looks like there may be something happening soon there again. And as far as future Doctor Who stuff, the only thing I can really say is that there's a guy who's trying to do a script, put a script together for sort of a pilot for my character, Grace Holloway, and Yiji So's character, Chang Li. Those two characters are restricted right now. There's sort of legal limbo. So he's trying to sort of bust that up a little bit by using us in something Doctor Who related, and just changing it up enough so that it's legal, and seeing how it affects things.
So almost
if it
like
shakes
its
anything loose.
own little world, like what the What Ifs in Big Finish were. Just a take on a different life. I see.
Right. And so that's the only thing that's really Doctor Who outside of conventions. That's the only thing, like film-wise, that I can mention. And who knows if it'll actually happen. He's working on it now. He's a real smart guy. It's called Sons of
Gallifrey?
Sons of Gallifrey. Maybe that's it.
That's one? Oh,
the guy that tweets. He's also trying to send a TARDIS up into orbit.
Oh, okay.
That guy.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Good.
I think his name's Robert Doyle.
Now, what's upcoming for you, so that your fans can hear, so they can catch up on things? What's upcoming for you coming up? And I'm just going to say upcoming about 3 more times during this podcast.
Okay. I do that. I totally do that. Right now, I'm actually working on. I just completed writing a script, and I'm going to see if I can try and get that thing produced. So that's what I'm kind of working on, and then I'll be doing another album that'll come out next year.
Awesome.
Yeah.
This is the lovely Daphne Ashbrook. I'm in the throes of greatness. I can just go faint somewhere right now. Probably not here. She's got to clean me up then. But I appreciate your time. Thank you. And today we have
Bill Young
and
Heather Young.
And you guys did our podcast for the last time we did the Hurricane Who podcast.
Yeah, whenever they did the was it the reveal for the 12th Doctor? Or Yes.
So we're excited to guys have you back there. Where are you guys from originally?
Orlando,
world travelers. I can tell.
Yes.
And what was your favorite Doctor? Have you changed it yet, or you kept your favorite Doctor the same?
I'm still Matt Smith. He's still my doctor, but David is definitely up in my top.
Who did you come into the series with?
Matt.
Who brought you in? Matt
did.
And who brought you
still say Eccleston because that was my first Doctor.
Yeah, Eccleston was your first. Always remember your first there.
Yes.
And what do you think about Peter Capaldi as the new Doctor? Uh-oh. I'm too bad this is radio because that face is just...
I'm concerned he's going to be too serious of a Doctor.
You think so?
We've been fortunate enough that even Eccleston had that little bit of humor. It was dry, but it was still humor. And then we had Tennant and Smith, and it's just gotten goofier and goofier. And I'm worried Peter Capaldi's going to be very serious, and I'm only basing that opinion off his character from Torchwood.
Okay, and you also, I'm assuming, no problem, you saw already Pirates of Pompeii.
Yeah.
Do you think maybe that characterization should morph into the Doctor? Do you think he should reboot it and become something totally new? Do you think he could work something off of his character?
It might be interesting to do a reboot.
Because the Doctor does have that moments when he has to get serious.
Yeah.
Even Matt Smith, when he's always clowning around, pulling that bow tie, when Tennant's playing with his hair, they have those serious moments where they have to stand there and tell the bad guy, no, this is where I stand. You're not going to go any further.
This is true.
What do you think about
I'm
that?
not as worried about his age or anything. I think the problem that I have is that when I look at him, I think about Torchwood Miracle Day.
Okay.
And
so you're thinking Frobisher. You're thinking,
Yes, I'm thinking about how he killed his family at the end of the episode and all that just very depressing stuff, and I'm hoping that he's not going to be like that. One thing I like about Who is that it's funny.
Right.
It's serious, but it's overall funny, and that keeps me entertained. So I'm hoping that they continue that even though he can be or is a serious person, that he still can put humor in there.
Now, let me bring up this point, and actually he is here. Colin Baker had a villainous role and shot the Doctor in the classic series. Then he takes over. Some people like him, some people don't. But I mean, as you can see here, a majority of the fans, they love him.
I like Colin.
So do you think that's going to happen again?
Well, when I think of Colin,
Because you
I
love
think
Colin.
I do like Colin because I liked his sarcasm.
Okay.
I thought that was witty.
He reminded me of Eccleston.
Yes, he was
When I
just-
went back and watched some of the older Who, Colin reminded me a lot of... Eccleston had that same dry humor. And I know Baker was first, but I saw Eccleston first.
Right.
And when I would watch Baker, it was a lot of the same, that dry British humor.
Exactly. And that was my favorite parts of Colin, because he always, when he go after him, go into the face of the bad guy, it was just like, he could be like the weakest person in the room, but he was standing there strong, no matter what. He owned the place, he showed it, and nobody could take him down.
Yeah.
Even if he was wrong, nobody was going to take him down.
He was fantastic.
Well, thank you so much for your time. Enjoy Hurricane Who, and hopefully we'll do this again at the next Hurricane Who.
Yes.
And unbeknownst to us, we have somebody who is our friend from Florida SuperCon. He is wearing an Adric name tag, but I know that's not his name. What's your name there, sir?
Michael.
Michael, where are you from?
West Palm Beach, Florida.
Oh, all right. And are you considered a new or classic Whovian?
New.
New Whovian? Who is your favorite Doctor?
David Tennant.
Is he the one that reeled you into Doctor Who in the first place?
Yeah, it was kind of weird because I watched Eccleston, but then when Eccleston regenerated, David Tennant came on and he sort of defined the role for me as how the role should sort of be done and what else you could do with the role. So that's why he's my favorite.
Eccleston put you on the hook and
Yeah,
David reeled you all the way.
Yeah.
Now, what do you think about the 50th anniversary trailer that just came out recently?
I haven't seen it.
You have not seen it yet?
I have not seen the
Not even
50th yet. I know because I know y'all were talking about when's the trailer, and then the trailer finally came out, and I haven't watched the trailer, but I'm celebrating my 50th by reading the Prisoners of Time comic series, which I'm enjoying. But I'm actually the 23rd. I won't be around to watch the 50th on TV because I'll be at a book fair. So what I'm going to probably do is either watch it on demand or probably go to a movie theater and watch it with a bunch of people.
I think most places, movie theater, they're coming out on Monday.
Yeah. That's what ours is locally is doing.
Awesome. Now, what do you think about Peter Capaldi as the 12th Doctor?
At first, I was kind of upset because I sort of was kind of I thought it was going to be John Hurt that was going to come off of that stage, and it wasn't.
He is a doctor.
Yeah, and I was fooled.
As far as we know.
And then I was like, my first reaction was he's old, and then I'm like, wait a minute, William was old, and there was a lot of different. John Pertwee was old as well, so it was like, I like him. I think he'll do a nice job. I got to keep an open mind to the new actors.
Well, jury's out, but we're going to be watching him on when he premieres on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for the time. I appreciate
Thank
you coming. Enjoy Hurricane Who.
I will. Thank you.
And you have a good one. And today I have Mr. Frazer Hines. Everyone knows him better as Jamie from the second Doctor episodes.
Yeah.
And ironically, you are technically the second Doctor in the light at the end of the...
That's
the
right.
light at the end.
In the Big Finish production, I play Patrick, and also, excuse me, in all the other Doctor Who stuff as well.
Exactly.
All the Big Finish stuff, I play Patrick, which I love doing because I love the guy, and we had so much fun together. I just wish he was here with us, and we could do the Big Finish stuff and have even more fun doing it.
And more fun than hanging out. And so, can you give us a little sample of what Patrick sounds like?
Yes, well, I'm doing this sort of podcast here in the in the hotel, and there's a lot of people. You can hear the atmosphere, and it's wonderful.
Awesome. Now, how are you liking Florida and the Hurricane Who?
Well, it's great. Yesterday was good because it was pouring with rain, so we were stuck inside signing autographs.
Oh, yeah.
Now it's sunny today. I want to get out in the sun. I'm here for a couple of days after the convention finishes before flying down to the Long Island Iced Tea Convention in New York.
Are you going to go to the theme parks or anything? Or
We've been to the theme parks. We arrived a couple of days early. We've been to Epcot and Magic Kingdom.
And did you do the food and wine? Did you enjoy it?
Oh, we did. Oh, yes, great. Yeah, we did that 2 days running. Yeah, really good.
And we've got to go back. We've got to go back there. Now, what are you doing nowadays besides the Big Finish audience?
I've got a film coming out called 2 Days in the Smoke. And there's another one I should have started this year called Tarot, and that's been put on the back burner. Tony Lee, the writer, has written a show for me called The Mile Bunch, so we've got an option on that. Producer got an option on that. And there's another film called Scrum Like It Hot, which is in the offing. I had lunch with the producer the other day, and we're just sort of getting that together as well. And then I'm going to New Zealand next year to do Annie the musical.
Oh, nice.
And the thing is,
how long is that going to be around?
That's going to be for 8 weeks. 3 weeks, I think, in Wellington, 3 weeks in Auckland. And whilst I'm there, my last weekend in Wellington, there's a big Doctor Who convention in Wellington, so I'm going to be signing autographs there.
Awesome. Now, I know besides the normal process between TV and audio, how does that feel for you, the difference between doing Doctor Who, the audio, and Doctor Who?
Well, you've got to put more into your voice. For the audio, you have to put more in your voice. On TV or in films, theatre, whatever, you can do a look or just with a voice, but with your voice, you have to really, look out, or whatever. You've got to put a little bit more in.
I like that you were the best friend buddies with Troughton over there.
Yes, yeah.
I've always seen the
in fact, when I left Doctor Who, I went straight into a soap. I did a couple of movies, and then I went straight into a soap called Emmerdale Farm. And there was a character coming up in that, and I said, "Oh, let's get Patrick into it. He'd be ideal." And the producer said, "No, we've heard you had too much fun on Doctor Who," so they wouldn't cast him because they've heard we had so much fun.
I saw the holding hands scene, and they said, "No."
Yeah,
that's
not
for the
funny.
60s, not yet.
Yeah, that was funny.
And how has being in Doctor Who changed your life, and now the revamp?
Well, people say, what was your favourite story? I always say The Highlanders, even though nobody can see it, because if I hadn't done those 4 episodes, I wouldn't be here, I wouldn't have seen Australia, I wouldn't have seen all parts of America. I'm going to Australia later on in the year as well, I forgot to tell you. After Chicago, I'm going to Chicago, fly back to Chicago, have a day in London, then fly down to Australia. Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane and Adelaide for Doctor Who convention.
So you're just touring all over the place.
So this year has been just Doctor Who conventions. So much so that a couple of months ago, people said, "Where are you going next?" I said, "I'm going to Barking, Norwich and Montreal." And they said, "That sounds like a book title." So I'm writing a book now called Bark, and it's going to be a diary of conventions from the first one I did, who I met, things I did. It's going to be like a diary of where I've been.
Oh, excellent. Now, with the reboot, well, with the restart of Doctor Who, and now coming into it, being part of the classic series, how's that? How do you feel about it, especially now that
I think the finding those 2 new stories has raised our kudos a lot, and so much so that on Twitter and Facebook, if you notice, more people are excited about the Web of Fear and Enemy World than the 50th anniversary. More people excited.
That's really scary.
It's scary for the regime at the moment because people do like the classic stuff. Kids have been coming up to me. They love the black and white because black is scarier. You look at all those old black and white horror films.
Right.
Somebody can jump out from the shadows, whereas in colour, the shadows, they're not black enough.
Right. Well, I've told people, especially with a lot of the interviews, the new generation that's coming in, they're coming in with the new stuff, then they're coming with the classic. When I grew up on PBS, they just showed Colin Baker from beginning to end, Tom Baker from beginning to end, and that's why I thought Doctor Who was. And then when they finally said, "Oh, by the way, there are these 3 doctors you've been missing, and we've gone into a new doctor," I was like, "Wait a minute."
So what did you feel, after seeing Tom Baker, and then went on to Colin Baker, what did you think, who did you think was Jamie and the Doctor in the 2 Doctors?
I thought I was very excited to see you in there. I was very excited to see Patrick because I started watching some of Patrick's stuff, and that chemistry that you 2 had in the classic series, I saw it right back in there.
Yeah. And you first see it, I think, in the Faceless Ones, which is a story I wish they'd find Even of the Daleks, which was Deborah Watkins' first story, and the Faceless Ones, because they were 2 very good, creepy stories. But you can see Patrick and I having a bit of fun in the Faceless Ones, where we suddenly get the humour coming, where I'm saying, "Oh, we came in a big TARDIS," and he kicks me under the table. "What are you doing?" Jamie.
Oh, I think I've seen that. From...
Yeah, it's the border guard.
It's the border guard. Yes,
in England. Can I have your passport, please?
Yeah.
You must have arrived by plane. No, we came in a big.
That's Patrick just gave that. I was like, "Oh my goodness."
That's where you can see the humour of Patrick and I creeping in.
Excellent. Well, I appreciate your time, Frazer.
No, not at all.
Thank you so much. We're going to be watching out for you and for the Light at the End. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day here in Florida.
Sure. Thank you very much indeed.
And I now have another lovely couple over here. I believe I have the 10th Doctor, is that correct?
Yes,
and I have the lovely Clara. which somehow that's going to be mixed up, but we'll probably see them both in the 50th anniversary. But what are your real names?
I'm Min.
Min?
And Kimberly.
Kimberly. And you two, I've actually got you on the Traveling TARDIS site. I saw you tag yourself, so awesome there.
Yes.
And where are you guys from?
Castleberry.
Castleberry?
Yeah.
You don't sound too happy about it.
No, it's not really something to write home about. It's a smaller city. It's right outside
it's
Orlando.
Florida. It's cool.
So.
It's cool.
I've actually been really excited since they announced Peter Capaldi as the next Doctor.
Do you think it should be Dr. Blue with Peter Capaldi?
I don't know about that one.
Oh my! Should they go the post-watershed way, and make it for adults? No, that's for Torchwood.
That's what Torchwood.
Yeah, that's definitely more of a Torchwood thing. But I see Peter Capaldi bringing a much darker aspect back to the Doctor.
Definitely.
And you, Kim, what do you think about Peter Capaldi being the 12th Doctor?
I am excited to see what he's going to bring to the table.
Okay.
I like seeing, how the different Doctors have progressed, and I think that ending the way we're going to end, hopefully, is going to bring in a whole new era.
And it seems the general consensus, everybody, it's the jury waiting out there, but have you seen him in Fires of Pompeii and the Torchwood?
Yes.
Children of Earth? What do you think of his acting there being maneuvered into the new Doctor?
I've heard all of Moffat's theories, kind of, that he's the way. Yes, he's been in
but we know
the
Moffat
universe.
lies too.
Yeah, Moffat lies.
I hate Moffat.
Sorry, Moffat. We love you.
Love you, but
Just
we
in
hate
case.
you.
Okay.
But I'm interested to see how they're going to tie him in, because he has made other appearances in the universe.
Yeah. But Colin Baker, who's here, was Maxwell before he was the Doctor. And
Amy Pond was in Fires of
Karen
Pompeii.
Gillan was a part she starred with Peter Capaldi in Fires of Pompeii.
Now, here at Hurricane Who were you wanting to see the most out of everybody?
Why are you here?
As far as celebrities go, Gareth David Lloyd. Whenever I saw him on the list, I'm like, yeah! Because I think I might have loved Torchwood more than I loved Doctor Who.
I'm just a big fan of the Whovian universe in general.
That's right.
But after the Q&A session with Ian-mcneice, very inspirational man, very nice man. Yeah. He actually sat down with me towards the end of the night last night, and we got to chat a little bit as well.
Now, last question. You said you both came in the new series, but now having a classic Doctor, Colin Baker, how do you feel about him, and have you seen any of his stuff?
I haven't yet.
Okay.
Again, I'm working on it slowly, but it's really cool to have.
And you're familiar with the history of Colin and everything that he went through as a Doctor. Does that make you appreciate him more?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Have you seen him yet?
Running around. Pieces and
when he's not going, oh yes, okay.
Yeah. He seems like a very fun person as well.
Yes, he is.
It's very neat to have such strong history and such strong, prominent characters rather than some of the smaller, just the
like background actors.
Yeah.
I mean,
which, don't get me wrong, is awesome as well, but it's neat to have a showing.
An actual physical doctor. Or somebody who's been
the doctor.
who has made something of those roles out there.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you so much. Enjoy Hurricane Who, and we'll listen to our podcast later. And guys, thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.
And folks, I'm with the legendary Sixth Doctor, Mr. Colin Baker, and you've probably done a billion podcasts before, and I'm a nervous Nelly, so forgive me if I start stuttering the whole time I'm on this podcast there. How are you doing, Colin? How are you enjoying Hurricane Who?
I'm having a great time at Hurricane Who, meeting old friends, making new friends, and so far, so good.
I actually am also a big fan. I've seen some of your work in The Brothers as Malcolm Tierney, I believe, if I remember right.
No, Paul Merroney.
I'm sorry.
Paul Merroney.
It's been
Malcolm
a long time.
Tierney is an actor.
Oh, okay.
Who I know quite well. But no, I played Paul Merroney back in the 70s.
And how do you differentiate doing the work that you did in that series as opposed to Doctor Who?
Well, when I did Paul Merroney, the readers of the...
You're not going to let me down on that.
The biggest newspaper in Britain voted me the most hated man in Britain.
Oh.
So I went from being the most hated to the most loved in 10 years. Because Paul Merroney was the most hated, and Doctor Who is arguably the most loved man in Britain.
How much of your life has changed since when you became the Doctor and then currently now?
Oh, my life is exactly the same as it always was. Really? I go home to my wife and my family, and life is just perfectly normal. You mustn't delude yourself that being in a TV series in Britain makes you rich, because it doesn't.
Oh.
The bit that's changed is that wherever I go, there's someone who knows who I am.
But I see you have a lot of love. You have a lot of fans.
I got a lot of love, honey. I like a lot of love.
And your favorite Doctor, if I remember, was Mr. Patrick Troughton.
Yes, I tend not to use the F word anymore. Favorite, but I will for you.
Well, you're my favorite. How's that sound?
Hey, that's okay.
That's my F word to you.
But because Patrick did the hard job of the first regeneration and did it so well, I am in awe of the man. Because if he hadn't created the second Doctor so brilliantly, there wouldn't have been a third or a fourth or a fifth.
And as somebody has mentioned, everybody would be passing ships now. No, there would be nothing cohesive with Colin Baker or Tom Baker or Peter Davidson or anything of that nature.
Doctor Who would have faded.
By the way, how are you liking Florida?
Well, I haven't seen much of it.
You haven't?
All I've seen is the 1.5 hours queuing at the airport to get out of the immigration when I arrived.
Wow.
In Orlando.
I got to take you to Disney World. That's
and I've come here.
I got to take you to Disney World sometime. We got to set that up there.
Have you got an inn there?
What's that?
You've got an inn there?
I've been quite a few times. I have a Facebook site, and I take that TARDIS that you took a picture with me, and it's been there several times.
You don't work for Disney, though?
No, not me.
Get free passes?
No, not me.
Nah. Well, you're no use to me, are you?
Oh, well. But I'm here. I'm your biggest fan.
You are, without question.
And what do you think of the new series? I know you like Matt Smith. I've heard in podcasts before. What do you think about Capaldi as the new choice?
Well, I think he's brilliant. I think Peter Capaldi is exactly what the program needs, because we've had two young guys, both of whom have been brilliant, who have appealed to the young people. And having seen Capaldi work before, he covers the whole spectrum. And I think old and young alike, people will like him. He's got a mischievous gravitas, and he's got an intensity which I think is spot on for the Doctor. I can't wait.
A lot of people over here that I've been interviewing are passing judgment, waiting for him to see. They've seen him in the Torchwood episode. They saw him in the Fires of Pompeii. But for me, I'm psyched up. When I first saw him and saw what he has done in the past, I was like, wow. I didn't even know who he was until he finally showed up and became the Doctor.
I mean, he's well known for a series he's recently done in Britain, which is a political series, in which he plays a kind of character in 10 Downing Street who devises policy, and his language is appalling.
And do you have anything coming up Doctor Who-wise, so like Big Finish? Do you have any new stories that are coming up soon?
I don't know what they are, because I can never remember the titles. But I've recorded quite a few Big Finishes.
And I love them.
And they're coming out soon. And there's The Light at the End as well, which is the anniversary one.
How excited were you when you did that recording with everybody, with all the Doctors, all the companions?
I didn't. We all went in and did it separately.
Oh, really?
Because we weren't all available at the same time.
I gotcha.
And you can't put us all in the same place. The world would implode.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Well, Mr. Colin Baker, I appreciate your time. Thank you. Enjoy Hurricane Who. Enjoy
Thank
Florida.
you very much.
Thank you.
Lovely to talk to you.
Thank you very much to Colin Baker, Frazer Hines, Daphne Ashbrook, Ian-mcneice, and before Tony
and hey,
Bradford and Colin Spaull.
Yeah, and hey, we can now, as far as podcast accomplishments, we now have ourselves a doctor.
We had a doctor. We had Peter Davison on last year. We had Peter Davison on in a Hurricane Who interview.
Okay, well, we now have two. We have 5 and 6. We have 5 and 6. All we need now is we need to just get our hands on Tom Baker. We need to talk to Sylvester McCoy when he's not exhausted. We need to get Paul. We need to get the rest of the doctors, and maybe we can get David Bradley and whoever's playing Patrick Troughton in Adventure in Space and Time, and that could count as 1 and 2, and then well, we'll have to figure out what to do about 3.
You want to get your hands on Tom Baker? Oh my!
Oh, Christian, get in the corner, and since you're getting in the corner, why don't you pose the next question of Christian's Corner?
Absolutely, everybody. When you get a chance, and you'll have plenty of time to review on this, what was your favorite moment during the 50th anniversary special?
Oh, that's a good one. We should get a lot of responses on that. Go to our Facebook page, Mark-Who42's WHOniverse, or email us at mark@mark-who42.com, and you can write your favorite moments. The next 2 weeks, we're doing special shows because it is the 50th anniversary. Next week, right after the 50th episode is on, we're going to have a Day of the Doctor review. And the following week, we're going to be a little late on it, but, we want to cover it too. The Adventures in Space and Time review. So those will be our next 2 episodes, and then we'll come back with our regular episodes the following week. Did you have a good time on our first anniversary, guys?
Awesome.
Oh yeah, no, great time. Food was a little stale. The wine wasn't a good vintage, but for our first anniversary, it was our first attempt at an anniversary party. So we can improve next year.
Yeah.
He actually kept all the food from last year and kept it for this year, including the candy corn.
Oh, I hate candy corn. You can eat it all.
Oh, but wait. Well, hey, Mark,
Did.
hang on. Okay, it could be worse.
What could it be?
Okay, because we could be recording. We could have our anniversary in late November. And then instead of candy corns, it could be fruitcake.
Fruitcakes by Jimmy Buffett.
Jamie Buffett.
Jamie
No,
Buffett.
he's all about cheeseburgers.
It's all about in paradise.
Remember Cheeseburgers in Paradise?
Yeah, that's the end of our show, folks.
The fries.
Okay.
Hey guys.
Yes.
Why is Christopher Eccleston afraid of Paul McGann?
Because 7, 8, 9. No, that doesn't make sense. Yeah, it does.
No.
No.
Because McGann hurt Eccleston.
That stays in. That's got to be in.
Wow. That was
And on
funny.
that note,
I like that's better than
That's awesome.
Sylvester. That's better than Sylvester being afraid of Eccleston, which is what I thought we were doing. But
No, it would be why. No, it would why be Eccleston is afraid of
Paul
Sylvester.
McGann.
McGann hurt Eccleston.
McGann hurt
good.
Eccleston.
I
That's
like
awesome.
that.
That is
That's
awesome.
a good joke to end with.
Awesome.
Go to FloridaGeekScene.com, to GeekCastRadio.com. Go to iTunes. Go to Stitcher app. Go to our new people that host us, World of Who. You can go to our Facebook page, Mark-Who42's WHOniverse, at Mark-Who42 on Twitter. We're everywhere in this WHOniverse, and we will be back, like I said, next week with a special review show of Day of the Doctor. So bye,
everywhere. We are everywhere. You cannot resist us. Submit.
We're going to close out on some musings of Christian while walking around the corridors of Hurricane Who. You'll listen to us next time. Bye.
Come here, Mark.
Oh, ew.
Happy anniversary. Mark-Who42's WHOniverse has been written and presented by Mark Baumgarten, Patricia Helm, Eduardo-m-Freyre, and Christian-basel.
I think my life's in danger here. There's a weeping angel following me. I'm trying to keep my eye on it. Seriously, there's this angel following me. I don't understand it.
Can you get out of the way more? I'm trying to go to the bathroom.
We'd like to thank Jared Cooper for allowing us to record his guests at Hurricane Who Category 4. Not to mention Colin Spaull, Paul-Bradford, Tony Lee, Ian-mcneice, Daphne Ashbrook, Frazer Hines, Colin Baker, and a heck of a lot of fans for participating in the interview.
I'm going to believe this, my friendly Whovians, but Mark Baumgarten himself, just for Hurricane Who convention, actually built a corner for me. I'm not going to that thing. That's kind of scary. I think it's a men's bathroom, actually.
This show was edited, produced, and directed by Mark Baumgarten.
I'm Christian-basel, and I just interviewed Frazer Hines, and I did not call him Colin Baker. Eat that, Ed!
Please remember to rate us and listen to us on iTunes and the Stitcher Radio app. And comment on our broadcast at GeekCastRadio.com, FloridaGeekScene.com, and WorldOfWho.com. Tweet us at Mark-Who42 And check out our Facebook page, Marku42's Universe.
Oh my God, these weeping! I'm serious. These things look so lifelike. I mean, it's all. I mean, the details, everything that they put in, they really sculpted these well. I mean, seriously, this is awesome.
Excuse me, can you please take your hand off my butt?
You can be contacted by email at mark@marku42.com with the subject line $? And don't forget Christian's Corner.
Oh my God, this is Tony Lee's table right here. This is awesome. Look at all the comic books over here. This is great. He's got MacGyver. He's got Doctor Who. This is totally awesome. I mean, look at this. This is great.
Dude, if you're gonna lick the comics, you gotta buy the comics.
Doctor Who and its properties are owned by the BBC, the British Broadcasting Corporation. This podcast is streaming from Marku42.com.
And I'm with Grace Holloway. And Grace, am I a better kisser than Paul McGann?
All right, this one's hard, but I'm going to have to say yes.
Eat it, Paul!
This podcast is owned and copyrighted by Mark Baumgarten, 2013.